that shit.
Welcome to Trash Talk MMA.
Smile on my face, behind my back, they talk trash.
The #1 podcast for news and insight that matters in the world of mixed martial arts.
I don't want to hear it.
Brought to you live and unfiltered from all four corners of the globe
That's what you said.
by MMA aficionado Antoine Pelche.
Yo, and welcome to the Trash Talk MMA podcast. I'm your host, Antoine Pelche, and today I have a very special guest, Mr. Marcel Baby Sumo Gaines, Muay Thai fighter out of the Tiger Muay Thai camp. Marcel, how's it going, buddy?
Good, how you doing?
Good, I couldn't be better, man. I'm glad I caught you. It seems like you're about to flee the country.
Yeah.
What's up with that, man?
I'm leaving the sunshine for some snow, apparently. Lots and lots of rain.
So right now we are in the sunny summer of Phuket. It's been hot, dude.
The constant summer.
I mean, it hasn't even rained though. Like, I've been here for 2 months. It hasn't rained.
Man, this has been one of the driest spells I've seen in the last 3 years.
I was out here last year. It was raining all the time. April, like, at least you get 20 to 30 minutes of rain per day.
It was a fair amount of rain, not so much. The year before that, it was a hell of a lot more. The year before that was like a normal Thailand. I think it's been progressively getting drier and drier. It's been crazy hot this year.
Yeah, I mean,
really,
I
really
keep
bad.
looking at the temperature and it says stuff like 34, 35, 36, but it feels like 40, man. You know?
Every day, yeah. And then
Crazy.
the humidity keeps playing around as well, so that, messes you up. You get so used to, being super high. If it drops by a few digits, then it's like, my throat feels like it's locking up, you know what I mean? It's a bit crazy.
Yeah, and in the camp, man, when you're training in this heat, it's just gnarly, you know?
Yeah, you got to stick to your designated training times of the day. That first thing in the morning, you need to do that long run. You got to wake up early for it. You have to, because by the time it's 8 o'clock already, it is baking hot. So by then, if you do 5-7 kilometers, for example, first thing in the morning, you're going to be dead by the time you get to the gym.
So, how many fights have you had?
34.
34 fights. You must have a pretty locked down routine. So let's talk about your training. What times do you train at? What do you do during those times?
Normal training day, I suppose. Monday morning, get to gym about 7:25. I'm feeling lazy. 7:30.
Well, for most people, that's still early bird behavior.
that's quite lazy for Thailand, for Muay Thai. Foreigners, we get a bit more snooze time. But yeah, I'll get.
Do you find that the Thais they just tend to get up early and really start their day at the
especially if it's more of a Thai environment kind of thing, traditional training gym kind of thing. Then those guys, man, 4-5 in the morning, it's like a normal morning for them.
Oh yeah, they go military.
Dude, I've seen guys running and they're still asleep, like, you know what I mean? Like, got the guy in front of you leading you by the hand so they don't fall over or grind to the road or something. Like, you're still definitely still asleep. But if you're not moving quick enough, you usually get a sharp slap or something that'll wake you straight up.
Now, you've been out here for a while.
3 years.
3 years, and from the short amount of time that I spent training with you and just kicking it seems like you've embraced a lot of the Thai culture.
Yeah, quite a bit. There's there are some parts you're gonna struggle with. I still struggle with quite a few aspects of the culture and the thinking here quite a bit. I think I have absorbed a lot of it, maybe too much of it.
Yeah.
My English has been massively affected. I say same is like a constant part of my vocabulary.
You're South African, right?
Yeah, South African.
Where from?
Born in Durban, raised in Cape Town.
Okay, and how old are you?
30 years old now.
Okay, 30.
Yeah.
So tell us a bit of your story, man. Everybody loves you out here. I trained a bit with you, I had a blast, and we'll talk about that in a bit because I had my own sort of perspective of what you were doing, and I liked it. I got the chance to see you fight. You had a great little knockout streak going on here, but take us back a little bit. What got you into Muay Thai?
Muay Thai itself, I had no idea existed, which was quite embarrassing for me because I've always been a martial arts fan. I've been a fighting fan. The dynamics of the human body fascinated me from a very young age. I started thinking about what my body could do, what my hands could do, other than pick up a cup and brush my teeth kind of thing. I was fascinated by that. So people like gymnasts, for example, especially athletes, I loved it seemed so alive to me. There's so much vigor. The body was just.
That aura that people give off when they're in great shape and very athletic.
Oh, very much. Yeah,
just,
there's an air around
different
it.
energy.
You definitely pick up on it. But it was just amazing what people were doing. It's the extraordinary things people were doing with what was apparently so very, very ordinary and normal. Do you know what I mean? We've all got 2 arms, 2 legs, but some of us can fucking fly, man.
Yeah, some of us can do more. Now,
do you know what I mean?
Were you fascinated by athletes that you saw on TV, or did you have some role models around you? Were you surrounded by athletes growing up?
I suppose in a lot of ways, probably. My mother was very, very athletic in her youth, and so was my father was a long distance runner. He did quite well in that. He was a professional boxer. He was a bantamweight champion in his youth in Durban.
This was your father?
Yeah.
Okay, so you had
quite sure it percolates in the blood.
Okay.
He disappeared too early to be able to teach me anything though, but I'm sure some of it, like I said, percolated in the blood.
Yep.
That and my mom's lessons helped. She was my first coach. But yeah, they were both very athletic in their youth, I think, and I really do think it affects you. I mean, I've done my own research now, and it's been proven that the muscle memory, the exercise goes so much further than just muscle memory itself. It actually encodes itself into your DNA, kind of thing,
Yep.
And I kind of always had this kind of inkling that I was able to do things when I was a kid. Like I knew I was just quicker, I was faster, kind of thing, and that fascinated me. So I was constantly doing things that caused me a lot of injury, like trying to climb things all the time. And then the second I could bend a spoon, oh my god, everybody cutlery in the house bent, kind of thing. And I kept trying to push those limits,
knives.
Yeah. And then you go from the point where you're just a kid living in this world of wonder to a kid that's now living in a world of rationale and logic and things, because your brain changes, and once you start getting educated, right, don't you? You know what I mean? So then I started figuring things out, like physics. Like, okay, this kid, we're both kids at the same age, whatever, but this one has got a lot more weight, he's a lot taller, you know what I mean? That changes things massively, doesn't it? You know what I mean? And so that kind of thing really interested me a lot. And then the martial arts had a lot of very cool answers to a lot of these questions. And then I suppose the reality of my environment kicked in very soon after my father left when I was 5. Kind of like the shield was off, kind of thing. You know what I mean? And then the UV rays
exposed.
Yeah.
So what was your environment?
It was fairly good for a while. Then we moved to Cape Town when I was still fairly young. My mom bought a house out there to help us sort out our lives, get started again, kind of thing. And then I'd been given the role as the head male in the house, which was quite problematic for me psychologically. You
got some siblings? You got brothers, sisters?
Yeah, 2 younger brothers.
Okay, so you were the oldest brother.
Yeah, so it was now my responsibility. I was told at 5 to sort things out, and that put a lot of pressure on me. Really freaked me out. And then I started becoming more aware of my environment, I suppose, because now I was acutely aware of having to defend things. And then, like I said, I'd figured out the difference in sizes, and you know what I mean. And I knew that a little kid was going to struggle against a bigger kid, for example, kind of thing. And then I realized I was only 5, and I was like, oh shit. And then I think about, okay, my moms need to be protected, brothers need to be protected, there's no daddy around, kind of thing. And then you start being aware of the things that are actually happening around you. Then I started being very aware that there was actually, hold on, there's this thing called crime. It's happening regularly,
So were you in a part of Cape Town that was shoddy? Or,
at first, no.
Yeah?
At first, no. It got to the point where it started getting steadily a bit more dodgy, kind of thing,
Yeah.
I suppose it's like that pretty much all over the country now. I mean, even in really posh areas, there's still like the taint that, you walk around the wrong tree and you're going to get jumped, kind of thing, you know what I mean?
Snakes in the grass, right?
Yeah, this is it. And that one concept specifically, really, I couldn't sleep over that snakes in the grass idea, because they could be anywhere, you always have to be ready, kind of thing.
So do you felt like you sort of became a little paranoid, or what?
Oh, incredibly. Probably to the point where I'd turned into a fanatic. I know, because I've been told this by everyone in my life. Still to this point, I drill security and physical regiments. Luckily, a lot of that was instilled in me in primary school, I think. The same place where I realized I needed to fight as well was the same place that kind of strengthened me up. Because now I'm 6, I'm in Cape Town. I don't sound a lot like the other... We call ourselves coloureds in South Africa, right? You get whites, you get blacks, you get coloureds, you get Indians, you get so on, right? But a mixture of the 2 races, which in black and white, let's just say white and black people, come together, and someone that looks like me gets created, right?
Yeah.
Anything in that vast region is called coloured in South Africa, right? So, okay. Now,
France would call that cafe au lait.
Yeah, I know you're going to freak out about that internationally, but in South Africa, this is how we identify ourselves. I am a coloured man.
Okay.
So But there are different types of colours, and I'm from Durban, so that makes me very specific. And I'm now in Cape Town, and the Cape Town colour is probably the most notorious of all the types of colours in South Africa. And they sound they've got a very specific accent, put it that way, very specific sound to them. And I didn't sound like that. And I'm 6 years old, I'm surrounded by them, and they want to know why I sound the way I do. And if I'm doing it on purpose, they should say that I was keeping me, how do I translate it? I was acting white. That's why I spoke the way I did. It's why I could pronounce properly and roll my R's. It's because I was pretending to be a white person, so therefore putting on the air, trying to be better than them. So I'd say good morning, and they'd say punch. Do you know what I mean? Luckily at the time, though, the physical regiment in South African schools was still pretty hardcore. It's kind of apartheid basis, you know. So we were doing really cool, rigorous things, like you'd run through like tire obstacle courses and like tunnels and, you know, crawl over patches and climb up ropes, that kind of thing.
Yeah, almost like those sort of military.
Yeah, that's it. I really liked it because it always reminded me of American movies. When you see like there's cop training programs and that kind of thing, you know, it's almost maybe kind of
Marines or whatever.
Yeah, that was it. And this is when I started realizing there was a difference with me. Like it was really quick. I was a lot stronger than I should have been for my size, and I really enjoyed it. Like I always had this.
Like physical advantages.
Yeah, and it was like a lust for more kind of thing. Do you know what I mean? Like if I could, someone showed me a handstand, I'm like, whoa, and I'd have to be able to do that, figure it out. What else could you do? And then from the handstand, it goes to like handstand flip over kind of thing. Like it just, where can it go kind of thing, you know? So then, I suppose, with those conflicty kind of, you know, situations, there was a problem. I didn't want to talk about it because, you know, you're a man, especially this man. I was at 6 years old. I was the man of the house, so, you know, a lot of pride. But it became a big problem after a while. And my mom, being the genius that she is, she can smell problems. That woman. She cornered me one day in the kitchen. I was being a bit hesitant about going to school, I think. And she asked me what the problem was, and I just laid it out, which was very uncanny for me at the time because I didn't even think about it. And I was like, whoa. And I was just like, yeah, Mom, this is what's happening. You know, I'm getting beat up. These guys, just, you know, I don't want to go to school. Da, 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 da.
So you were getting bullied and smacked around and...
Yeah.
How old were you?
6, 7, 6, about 6 and a half, maybe going 7.
Just a baby.
Yeah, man. I didn't know how to channel my rage kind of thing. Or I didn't know what to do with it kind of thing. Like, I get assaulted and I'm like, okay. You know, like, I wouldn't really, like, fight back or anything. I'd just be like, I'd feel lots of stuff, but I wouldn't you know.
No, we've all experienced that.
Yeah, so Mom took me out to the garden and explained it all to me, life and, you know, big boys, little boys, that kind of thing. Taught me how to box.
So your mom taught you how to box?
Yeah.
Awesome.
I'm assuming she picked up some stuff from
Don't think
my
mom knows how to throw a punch.
No, my mom's gangster. She can handle herself.
She could probably throw a mean kitchen knife or a wooden spoon, but a punch, no.
No, my mom and all of her sisters, they can all handle themselves. My mom, cool. Yeah, and a bit of wrestling. Mom and I would do as well. She just, you know, we'd mess around until the hormones kicked in. The mom was like, no. But yeah, she told me, but she made me swear that I'd only ever use it in defense. Never lay a hand on a woman unless she picks up a weapon. And then she's a man, and then I can do, and then
you can lay head kicks.
Then all hats, all rules are off. It's the same thing. Yeah, but other than that, doesn't matter what she does. I can't do anything about it. And never hit a man when he's down. That was what Mom finished up. Never hit a man when he's down. So I go back to school, get the same kind of results, but this time I've got a bit of knowledge. And this is when I started getting curious about the whole exercise thing as well, because I'm quite sure that my dad's DNA must have percolated through. Because I'll never forget it. It was one of the most mind-blowing experiences of my life. I think it was the first time had ever slowed down for me, you know. There was this guy that was bullying a friend of mine at school, and I don't know what he'd done. We were in the sandpit, and that's where everyone always did it, like in primary school. When you were really young, there was a sandpit we always used to go by the tennis courts, and that's where like you'd handle the beef, you know.
Yeah. In America, it's the bike racks.
Yeah.
You know?
Okay, cool.
Let's handle this shit out by the bike racks.
All right, cool. So my friend was getting beat up, and this kid was a lot bigger. And I don't know why I did it, but it was just kind of just typical me, I suppose. But I just stepped forward, and I was like, "Oh, leave him alone," kind of thing, and then pick on someone your own size, even though I'm smaller. Mom said she always thought I had a screw loose because I'd always step to bigger guys and be like, "Fight someone your own size." You know, she said she didn't think I was aware of my actual stature, you know. But
yeah, but you probably perceived yourself differently because you knew you had gifts that they didn't.
I think this was it. Like, I think the being fast and that kind of thing. I think like I just,
because it's not just
it gave me
physical,
a confidence. I suppose.
It's the speed, it's the athleticism, it's the IQ, it's the geometry.
Yeah, that's it. It's geometry. Luckily, I think I'm aware of that. But yeah. So anyway, the guy turned towards me and he was like, no, whatever. And I said, just went pop. Like my left hand just flew out and. It was crazy because, like I said, this was the first time I can remember ever time slowing down. I'm sure it's happened to everyone at some point in their life for whatever reason, but you know what I'm talking about.
Yeah, you get that matrix camera going on.
You can smell, you know what I mean? It's like, and you see everything perfectly. And it was almost as if I was outside of myself, watching myself. Do you know what I mean? Yep. Like a hyper sense or whatever. I don't even know what to call it. But my hand popped out.
An out-of-body experience.
Yeah. It was like 1, 2, 3. And I remember stopping and thinking, and I was like, wow, that's amazing. I was like, those look really good. I was like, that looks like a boxer's punches. And then
you're like 6 or 7?
Yeah, and then I think that was the problem, is that I got caught in this kind of like monologue where I was like, whoa, dude, what did you just do? That was awesome. Where did that come from? And then it was like, oh shit, I can't do that. And like, I kind of like fell out of the mode kind of thing,
So is this guy tooled at this point or what?
Yeah, his nose was bleeding and we were only 6, so that was a big thing, So that was kind of, oh shit, yeah, his nose was crying. But I didn't enjoy the fight. I didn't enjoy doing what I had to do. All I wanted to do was look after my friend. But I've had this tingling in me, this excitement. I'll never forget the way his face felt on my knuckles. Do you know what I mean? And I know it sounds horrible. I can hear it in my ears. It's like it's so barbaric. It's like, oh, that guy. But oh man,
it resonated.
It resonated so strong. It was this deep, and I just needed more. Do you know what I mean? I didn't want any pain I needed more of that feeling of like awareness of that virility. Like the same thing. I used to love watching people run. It's just that virility, that powerful. I don't know what it was. It was just this crazy little sparkle that came out of nowhere.
Dude, it's energy, man. And it's kinetic energy.
Yeah,
and some people, they love it at the end of a friggin' bungee cord. Some people want to jump from outer space with a GoPro camera on their skull.
I don't know what it is.
And some people want to swim with sharks, and some people want to feel their fist bouncing off of a dude's cranium.
You just be minding your business, walking through the mall one day, and boop, something will happen. A universe will drop an experience in front of you, or whatever it is, and something pings.
So that was a real eye-opener for you, though.
Yeah. It created like a sort of side world for me to like the real world, where it was like home, security, school, grades, cartoons, food. Don't like the socks I got for my birthday. That kind of, the normal. Yeah. It created this whole side parallel universe kind of thing where like I could be anything and I could escape from my circumstances a little bit, I suppose, as well. When Dad left, we struggled a little bit, So yeah, it was just something special that didn't require financing. Do you know what I mean? Because it didn't require anyone else other than myself and where my mind could take me, my body could take me, and that was the most interesting thing as well. Was that where could my body take me, kind of thing. And I started looking at all these other people, and then I discovered the Ninja Turtles, and that was just
the Ninja Turtles.
Right, I figured it out. That's what I'm gonna do with my life. I'm gonna be a Ninja Turtle.
I'm gonna be a Ninja Turtle.
But it still kept this whole martial arty thing. It was awesome to see what they're doing with their bodies, because obviously I can convey it into humans. But then when I eventually discovered Bruce Lee or Jackie Chan, for example, master of angles and geometry. Then it was more real life, because now these aren't cartoon green mutant creatures. These are real human beings, and they're encountering real human being problems, very similar to the problems that I might encounter or have encountered, and they're handling very well. So that became a core focus for me, because I had this whole worry. I now was incredibly paranoid about security, and then being an able man of the house. So that became a massive answer for me for my natural curiosity as to how far my body could go, what it could do, and then also now to help feed my paranoia for strength and defense. So
how did this lead into your teen years? What was the next step from this?
There wasn't much for me to do as far as training was concerned. Most of it was just roughhousing around. You know, you go through WWE phase, your brothers, table, you know, that kind of shit.
Table, ladders,
yeah, we
match.
all pretend to be ninjas or Mortal Kombat characters and smash each other, that kind of thing. I mean, I'd gone through quite a few fights at school and that kind of thing. Like I said, I had nice hands and they moved in ways that I didn't understand, kind of thing, you know. Not until I started, that was it. Not until I started doing training that I started realizing, oh, cool, this is how this works, kind of thing.
There's actually science behind this.
I'm telling you, it was information that's in the blood that gets passed on. This is why I train so vigorously as well. I'm curious to see if my offspring will have these innate abilities without being able to throw around the house and not know how or why or what it is, but it comes out in a moment of panic, kind of thing. Do you know what I mean?
Do you believe in that? Do you believe that you can actually alter your DNA throughout the course of your life?
Oh, definitely. Oh, absolutely, definitely. Because the whole point of us and our species is to procreate, right? Yep. Why do you think that is? It's to pass on information, right? Yep. Cells. That is what it is. There's tiny little creatures inside of you that are screaming to survive, and they'll do anything and everything as far as making you climb a mountain to get to that girl or slap that grand to get that chocolate. It does not care. Survival is the only thing it worries about. Which is why you have as many children as possible. Why? Because odds of survival higher, odds of your genes surviving higher, right? It's the same thing. And all of the information, everything those bodies and those people go through, these cells go through, is all stored. It's all stored. There's nothing new under the sun. That's the truest thing that's ever been written down on paper, as far as I'm concerned. There's nothing new under the sun. It all percolates down, right? Whatever your fathers and your fathers or your mothers and your mothers did, you can do it. It's locked away. You don't know about it. It's just hidden away. It's like a function you don't know what to do. When you get a new fancy TV, you don't know what the hell 20 little buttons on your remote does. You know how to get to the channel you want, and that's where you stay for a little while. And then you'll get curious every now and then, press a different button, see how it cracks. You have all these functions in your brain. Now I'm convinced that for those cells to survive, remember, they will do anything. Now, if there was anyone in your ancestry that knew how to handle themselves, and that blood has been passed on to you, I am convinced in my soul, through my experiences and my practice, that in a moment of panic, in a moment of trouble, the body will find that information. It will find that gene, it will make it its own. And that's how a little boy jabs like a boxer without having any training at all. That's how people do these amazing things to defend themselves. How they can jump, or they can climb better. They can,
lift cars when somebody's caught under one in an accident.
It's all inside of you, and that's what I really enjoy about the martial arts as well, especially with the Chinese aspect that I first went into. Absorbing kung fu and theories behind it and stuff.
Well, what was your initial? How did you get introduced to actual training?
Well, like I said, first thing was messing around. Mom taught me how to throw a few punches, a little wrist, and that kind of thing. I tried some.
Like in a formal environment. Though.
Yeah. Karate I tried at a school. I did about 2 classes, and it was not what I was looking for. Very rigid, very kyak. I was not interested in it. So I left that alone. I tried judo, pretty much the same thing. Now, knowing what I know, I would have loved judo if I'd stuck with it. But it wasn't the Ninja Turtles, and that's what I was focused on really hard as a child. So that's what I was looking for, something more free-flowing, more, So for years and years, there was nothing, absolutely nothing. And then one day, my mom comes home, my 16th birthday, and she tells me that a Southern Shaolin Kung Fu school has opened up near our house. And for my birthday, she's enrolled me for like the first 6 months or whatever.
Awesome.
So I'm just like going crazy.
Best present ever.
Yeah, for real, And that was probably my first formal martial arts training. And
was that 16?
Yeah.
Good.
Jesus,
that must have been pretty cool.
Man, it was awesome, but Shaolin Kung Fu is no joke, and it's not for the weak, and there's no matting. You train on concrete floors, and you go down as concrete, But I got taught a lot about willpower, I got taught that I was tougher than I thought I was, a lot tougher than I thought I was, and there was more to the body, there was more to the mind than I realized, So it was great, but unfortunately, the school burnt down, and I wasn't able to train again for a very long time.
Crazy. So, what did you do school-wise? What did you do? High school? Did you hit up university after? What was your education process?
Yeah, I was ready to leave school at like 16, I think. I pretty much figured out, as far as I was concerned, that I knew everything I needed to know. The school was a scam, and that the rest of it's just like blah, 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 blah. This is fillers, right? It's just confetti. You've told me what I need to know. I've been out shopping and interacting with the world for a while now, and I've never used Pythagoras for anything. I didn't know how to dissect the plant, or what the periodical table meant nothing to the guy I bought my DVD from last night. Do you know what I mean? Like, useless. It's a whole lot of bullshit. And it's all very specific, isn't it? Yep. So if I wanted to become Dexter, the crazy scientist, guess what I'd do? I'd go and I'd study that, you know what I mean, that periodic table. But I started figuring out that, like, the different jobs, and obviously uncles and friends and that kind of thing, like, they're all very specific jobs. And I kind of figured that, like, it was very specialized, and then I was getting all this general jargon bollocks at school that I really wasn't interested in. I love my arts, I love my history, I love my geography, but the rest of it was just noise to me, and I was done with it. So I'm on my way out, right? So I burn every bridge possible at school, tell the principal to fuck yourself, that kind of shit. I got sent to a Catholic school, so I was very repressed. Just keep that on the record. So I exploded when I exploded. Ran home, packing bags. Someone hit the road and get out of here before mom finds out, kind of thing, because she's gonna kill me. School must have let mom know, because she came home from work and caught me at home. The scariest day of my life, because usually she would have beat 7 shades of shit out of me. But she was so calm. She was so calm and collected, and it was the scariest Hannibal Lecter experience of my life, because it was like, oh god, she's gonna kill me this time. Beating would be too good. And she was like, okay, listen, this is what she's heard, what's going on, yada, yada, yada. And she's like, okay, so where are you going? And I pointed at the map on my wall, China. What's happening? And she's like, oh, okay, cool. How are you going to get there? And I was like, I'm just going to make it. I'm going to hitchhike. And she's like, you can hitchhike China? She's like, Marcel, I know you've got good geography grades. Come on. And I was like, okay, fine. And she's like, okay, listen. I know you want to leave. I know you don't believe in school and all that bullshit. So I'll make you a promise. You're going to need money, right? And means, like a passport and that kind of stuff to get to China, right? I'm like, yes. She's like, okay, cool. You go back. For me, you get the necessary grades that I want. You essentially just do what I want, get what I want from out of school,
and I'll give you
and
what you
I
want.
will give you what you want. So I'll give you 15,000 in cash, plane tickets paid for already, passport, the job lot, whatever you want.
Okay.
Kiss in the cheek.
It's a good deal.
Is it a deal? And I'm, mom didn't raise no fools. So I was like, for real? She's like, for real. We shook hands. I had to go back to school.
That's business, right?
I had to go back to school to take a hiding for what I had done. Yada yada, see the priest. Yada yada yada.
Okay.
But I did it. She wanted me to get an to graduate with an exemption from high school, which is a university entry in South Africa. Because it was always her dream for me to go to UCT in South Africa. It's one of the best universities we've got in the country. So that was all she needed, was for me to be able to get this university entry. So I said, okay, cool. So I went back to school, finished it off, finished it 2 years later, the last 2 years to do. And she gave me the 15 grand. And I wanted to go to China with it, but a friend convinced me I could make a hell of a lot of money in a short period of time in England, and that, don't worry, China you can go to afterwards, but you can also buy my house before. So I was like, oh, cool, buy my house, make a lot of money, that kind of thing. And I've been watching this TV program. I wasn't interested at all in these plans. I watched this TV program, and there was this English chick in it, and God, she was gorgeous. I remember thinking,
Who was she?
Sienna Miller, actually.
Sienna Miller?
Yeah, I think that's her name. I remember thinking to myself,
we'll Google her
at
after.
like 17 something, if even a fraction of the English population, female population looks like that, I'm going to fucking England. It's only me for sure.
And the thing is England's not exactly known for having hotties, right?
And I thought all the men were going to be like Hugh Grant, you know what I mean? So I'm like, I'm gonna fucking bitch slap you. I'm going to own this island, you know what I mean? And the girls look like that.
I'm gonna go alpha male all these brutes.
Yeah, so I was like, okay, cool, let's do this, let's go to England for a little while, then I'll go to China, because I always wanted to become a monk. That was my dream. I was to become a Shaolin monk, live in the monastery, live the life, that kind of thing, away from all temptation, away from everything. It's all a vicious circle, man. I realized that really early. Everything's a vicious circle, and I wanted to just escape it, before I got tied down to anything or any distractions, kind of thing. And then I went to England, which was a big mistake. It was not what it was sold to be. Okay. But yeah, I had a bit of fun. I got massively distracted. Got bumped off my path
of being a monk.
Yeah. Discovered girls, clubs, parties, and this awesome thing called freedom. Freedom from parents. Freedom from everything. I was now in a foreign country. had my own money, had a job.
How old are you at this point?
18.
Okay.
And I'm now and this is like, oh God, like, I mean, I left the mom's house when I was like 16 and a half, 17, so I lived away from home, but it was with a friend that I was living with a friend's parents, and I lived with some aunts and uncles, and like, I like to move. I have very itchy feet, even as a child, you know. Mom used to drive me crazy.
Just kept it moving.
Yeah, so I'd been away from home. It wasn't like, oh, I'd never been away from home kind of thing, but I'd never been away from anyone that had any kind of authority over me kind of thing, you know. Like, now you've got your own couch, and it's like, oh God, I've actually got my couch kind of thing. It's awesome, you know. Spent the majority of my cash on girls, drugs, clubs. Went crazy. Was the proper, like, just release in the world kind of person. And I fucked around for a long time. I had a great time, man. I started off in Scotland and Edinburgh. Worked my way all the way down through the country till eventually, after like a year and a bit, made it down to the southwest. Lived in Bournemouth for a while. Gorgeous city.
Okay.
Was a friend with a friend of mine that literally was the only person I've ever known to get physically homesick. He turned yellow and puke like every day. So he wanted to go to a place called Plymouth because he knew some people there from home, and, you know, please come with me. And I liked the guy and I felt bad, so I did.
Tagged along?
I regretted it because I loved the city. I quit my job like I should just go with this guy to make sure it was okay, and then I ended up bumming around Plymouth for a while, and that's actually where I discovered Muay Thai. Craziest thing.
So there you go, right?
Yeah.
There was a
I was bumping around. I liked to do different
to
jobs because I wasn't sure what I wanted to do, and I wanted to experience as much of life as possible, so I was always up to try something new, always, you know. And so every city I lived in England, in Scotland, you know, on the way down, I'd always try to get a different type of job, like something I hadn't done before. Even if it was a bit shitty, it'd be okay, because I only wanted to just get to know the city, get to meet a few people, and then I'll be off to the next one, right? You know, move along kind of thing. So all sorts of things. And at this point, I was trying construction now for the first time. A friend had got me a gig, and I thought, paid alright, and I've never tried this before, could be fun, could learn something. And on this construction side, it just so happened that every other bastard was a martial artist of some type. It was crazy, man. Like, there were karate guys, and there was taekwondo champions, and there was that guy was a judo expert, and that dude was a and I was just like,
it's just a weird
awesome.
coincidence.
It's a construction site. Like, all of these having their coffees and their cigarettes, and like, yo, done this, and telling these crazy stories and shit. You're like, what the fuck? And just crazy, you know. Boxes and all sorts, you know. And then it gets to it goes around for a while, and then I'm working for some plasterers one day. I'm mixing the plaster and stuff, working out for them, and then they tell me about this martial arts style called Muay Thai, and I was like, no, there's nothing called Muay Thai. I mean, I know every martial arts style there is, and I'm like, you know, mostly just Chinese, obviously.
How do you even spell that?
Yeah, and I was like, come on, Thailand, what are you talking about? And then they're like, it just so happened that the Southwest Muay Thai champion was a plasterer, and he was working on that site. So I had to go find out. I'm a very curious creature, you know. So I went upstairs and grilled him, and the things he was telling me was just mind-blowing. I told you, like, they're attacked with their elbows and knees, and I was like, what? It was so savage, so... But so, like I told you, like I said when I first met you, it was like a crazy genius, you know?
Yeah.
It was like, oh my God, you've got these tools, and it's just a different way of looking at something, isn't it? You know what I mean? And it just blew my mind, because all of a sudden, I got 8 weapons. Wow, you know, what? Like, insane. And but I still didn't believe him, because I'd done quite a bit of skateboarding in my youth as well. For a long time, I was convinced I was going to go pro as a skateboarder, and that was going to be my life, right? And so I banged my shins quite a bit. Knew exactly how it felt. It was not nice. You know, everyone's banged their shin on the coffee table as well. Horrific, right? And this guy's out there, they're attacking people with their, they kick with their shins, not the foot. And I'm like, bullshit. But it's just elbow, okay, yeah, knee, I can understand all that, but shin, fuck you. Like, no, it's like a club and you get a hard, yeah, but it's not hard, is it? It's sensitive. And it's like a bitch. And he just looked at me, turned around, there was some scaffolding behind us, and he just went, and he kicked this pole. To this day, that pinging slap stopped.
He just wrung his shin off of one of the scaffolding poles.
Yeah, and he turned to me and he's like, "Look, nothing." And I was just like, completely shattered. I can still hear it in my head. Ting! I can still hear it. Just the shock in my face. So the fuck that. Like, I don't get what it's called, where it is, where do I do it, how do I start?
How do I kick solid objects with my shin and not feel pain?
And then, yes, I went to go check it out. It was a gym called Wild Kicks in Plymouth. And the area called Cockside. Yeah, believe it or not, it's called Cockside.
Cockside.
On the hoe.
Cockside on the hoe. Sounds like a t-shirt.
And I started there. It was fun. I got the first time I ever experienced leg kicks. and the pain of using your shin
Yeah.
to try and kick something. That was I must have quit Muay Thai 30 times in the first 6 months. It was just I couldn't take it, man. And then
So what was it? That the pain threshold that sucked?
yeah, the pain was vicious, man. It was so cold as well. Training in England, it was freezing cold all the time.
Yeah, it's one of the advantages here. You know,
Man,
your body's
that's
warm
the
and it's
thing,
so
like,
helpful.
You skip and like the skip mark hits your toe, you on the ground cringing in pain kind of thing, you know. And then also like I was like the guy that no one knew. I was also the foreigners, like you know what I mean. I was getting banged around a bit, and I was like,
You were the colored.
yeah, I was like, oh, fuck. No, literally, I stood out in a crowd. Like you could always tell where I was in a city, you know.
Yeah.
And then so my boxing wasn't bad because you know I'd been boxing, well, is what I called boxing at the time, you know. And so I ended up sparring them one day in the gym, and they were doing all this crazy Muay Thai stuff, and I was like, okay, I don't know what the fuck that is, but I'll check this out. Pop, 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 and I'm like, man, good shots, and I'm like, that's you know, I'm okay, cool, starting to feel a bit cool. I'm getting a bit of attention, kind of thing. Some guys are being, oh, well done, that kind of stuff. So I'm like, oh, nice, you know. So I start get the feet start moving. I'm doing my Ali impression, and I'm slipping and sliding and banging away and loving it, you know. And a guy that later became a friend of mine, at the time wasn't, was like the second best fighter in the gym. It was like 6'4" or something. It's massive, dude. And he's been watching me. And I remember I said I'd met the Southwest champion on the construction site. He just come back from a fight, looked all kinds of jacked up, 2 broken ribs, cracked shin, smashed face, and he had won that fight. Oh. That's when I wasn't sure if I even liked Muay Thai anymore, because that dude had won, and that's what he looked like, and he was sitting in the corner with his crutches and that kind of thing. But
yeah, so he's broken in 10 ways.
Yeah, that's it. But he's watching this cheeky South African doing an Ali routine in his gym, so he says, okay, you know, go over and teach him a lesson. So he sends this other guy over, I think his name's Mike, and to come over, and it's like, oh, you want to spar? I'm like, yeah, no worries. I've been owning all these guys, and now I'm like pumped confidence now, because I've just been like, yeah. And he's like, we start sparring, and it's like bang, 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 the leg kicks coming out. I don't even know what to do. His leg kicks is coming. I'm just like, banging away at my legs, and then I don't know, I think I dashed forward like a crazy haymaker trying to land something, and he like side steps and sweeps me, kicks me straight in the Achilles. Oh man, I'll never forget the pain. The bell goes ding. It also happens to be like right at the end of gym, so everyone's like, yeah, well done, pat each other on the back, that kind of thing. And you know, we're all standing on the mat, and then 1, 2, 3, they all walk off from the mat to the change room, and I'm standing there going, yeah, don't worry guys, just, you know, I couldn't move, right? I could literally just stand up, and that was it. And I was like, wait for people to turn around, so I could try and wobble over kind of thing, and was the last one to, I had to call a flatmate to come pick me up. Waited for all the guys to leave first, then I made the call, but he had to come pick me up, laughing his ass off. I needed 2.5 weeks off work after that. It was so bad. That's how bad it was, the pain. And I lived in the 4th floor.
What was the actual injury?
Just destroyed my thighs and my Achilles. It was the Achilles, the right Achilles was so swollen. It looked almost like a little head in the back of my leg. The colors of my thigh was just wow. And I mean, I'm a dark guy. I don't.
Jerky.
Yeah, you know, colors don't usually come out of my skin tone, and I was all kinds of colors. So that was. I needed to take 2.5 weeks of work because I couldn't walk.
Damn. Yeah,
that's how bad the beating was. I literally wanted to cry. Like it was horrific. My flatmate had to carry me up the stairs. We lived on the 3rd floor, right? So that was it.
So obviously you learned a lesson from this, though. Whoa.
Humility. Humility. But yeah, and then from there, when I eventually left England, I missed home and I wanted to continue my studies. At this point, I was a little older, and I now had experienced real life. I've been living out in the world, met all kinds of people and travel. And now, at 21, I'd realized the importance of education.
You think?
And yeah, where to get you, you know. And well, not so much the education, because I've known some really good blaggers, you know, con artists, spin doctors, call them what you will, storytellers, silver tongue people, and a lot of them didn't have the paperwork that you require, but they did the jobs real well. And that's what I learned from my time abroad with cowboys and gypsies and all kinds of interesting characters I bumped into. So you didn't necessarily need to have the paperwork if you could do the job, but the paperwork helps, kind of thing. So that was it. I knew the importance now of having this paperwork because of the weight that it held. Even though you could do the job without it, you're gonna need the paper just to get into the door, kind of thing. And like I said, I missed home, so I went back to South Africa to study.
So what age was this?
21.
Okay.
Going on 22, I think.
Yep. Yeah, she mucked around for a good 3-4 years.
Yeah, good old time. Yeah, good old time. Maybe too much of a good old time.
It's just part of it.
But yeah, I came
journey.
back, and then just so happened that there was Muay Thai in South Africa, in Cape Town, so I continued it there at a place called Dragon Power.
Yeah.
Biggest waste of time of my life. But I learned a lot from the other guys in the gym, that kind of thing. Continued on for a while. But went to 2 or 3 other gyms in South Africa. Ended up at a place called Phoenix Muay Thai that doesn't exist anymore. And the coach there, Don Mage, he was the one that got me a connection. Because I was going to give up Muay Thai in South Africa. I'd beaten everyone there was to beat in my weight category, essentially.
So were you fighting pro?
No, semi-pro. There was no
Semi-pro,
pro rules in South Africa at the time. You could, but there was no money in it. And then if you agreed to it, good luck finding an opponent that would also agree to it, kind of thing. So semi-pro, you were more likely to get a fight. And then even then, you only get a fight every now and then. And the more guys you beat, the less fights you got, kind of thing. And it got to the point where I'd beaten pretty much everyone in my category that was worth beating. And then there was nothing left for me to do. Just no fights anywhere, nothing. Do you know what I mean? And I was training like a professional, but I was fighting once a year if I was lucky. It was just teaching all the time, helping coaches out, teaching at the gym guys. So I was like, well, screw this, I'm going to focus on something else, And, man, I even dropped down as low as 59 kilos to try and get a fight. I wasn't going to get paid. We even offered to pay my opponents, plus the weight drop. And he cancelled the day of the fight after I'd been losing weight for 2 months.
Jeez.
I got to 59 kilos. And that was over Christmas and New Year's.
The best time of the year to stuff your face, right?
So then that's when I was like, screw this, forget about it. And he told me, listen, he's got a connection in Thailand. No one runs from back to Thailand. Just calm down. And I was like, yeah, whatever. And then he sends me a text one day saying, listen, Will Elliott at Tiger Muay Thai says he'll give you a shot, a probationary period. You come over, see what you can do, and take it from there. And I was just like, things were a bit up and down in South Africa at the moment. We were going through recession after recession. Work was getting harder. Life was stressing. And I thought, well, this is an amazing opportunity. This is only something I can do maybe for a short period of time as well. So
Shelf life is short.
I thought, and I needed another adventure in my life, So I thought, screw it, let's do it. So I sold everything.
Awesome.
Said goodbye to everyone. Told them what I was going to do.
They're like, awesome.
Yeah. Hopped in the plane and
everybody wants to have a buddy who just says, yo, I'm going to go become a pro fighter in some dodgy country and just get smashed.
Some of them were like, don't do it. What are you doing? You crazy. You're going to get killed. You can't fight those guys.
I would always be like, hell yeah, do it, man.
Yeah, you would have been
especially if I saw that you were good,
obviously,
my brother
there were people that were nervous
been a
about
profile.
it, but yeah, there were a lot of people that were positive about it, and but there were people that said like you couldn't even fight the Thais, like they're not like we are, like their bones are different, and because they've been doing it for so young, and I was just like bullshit. Like I'm gonna see for myself. If it's true that you can't, then cool, but I want to try. I want to see, and that's why I came. It was just that was literally it. I didn't even think I'd survive the first fight, to tell the truth. I just wanted to see if what I'd been doing all this time wasn't a waste of time, if I actually knew how to fight. And it was that excited 6-year-old boy again that man, I can be a Ninja Turtle, like legit Ninja Turtle, like I could be a real fighter.
Yeah,
like
let's go play with a bunch of Ninja Turtles and see what happens.
Yeah, it was terrifying, but it was so exciting. And then that's how it started, I suppose.
So Will got you out here? You got your ass out here?
Yeah, I got my ass out here. Sold everything, bought a ticket, and came on over.
So what year was this?
What are we, 2015 now? 2015, 13, 14, 2012, 13?
So at that point, you hadn't technically had a pro fight yet?
No, not one. Not one.
Okay, so your pro career started when you got here 3 years ago.
Started at Tiger Muay Thai, yeah.
Okay.
So I was shitting myself.
So you
I was like, what happens when a shin meets a shin without padding? Do you know what I mean?
How did it feel when you got to the camp? Like, what were the first couple of months like?
Man, I had a really rough time in Thailand before I even made it to Phuket. I got really sick in Bangkok, like day 3 of being in the country, like really bad. Lost like close to 6 or 7 kilograms, just being food poisoned, just puking and puking. So I was gonna die. So I rocked up in really great shape because, I wanted to be in good shape, and got to Phuket in really bad shape.
Fuck.
I also tried to rescue a frog in Krabi on the way down before I got to Phuket. Ended up almost slashing my foot. So I rock up to Phuket, 60-something kilos, sickly, skinny,
So like, who's
slashed up foot, yeah, and it's like, what the fuck? And I'm like, and I'm late, you know, so it's like,
Great first impression.
Yeah, now I'm just like, oh god, I'm in bad shape, like, you know what I mean? Like,
I'm late.
So I was just trying to like hide away, and then the first day, I was here for a couple of days. I explained to Will the situation, like, sorry, you know, sick, that kind of thing, been fucked up. Sorry, been getting messed up and that kind of thing. So he's like, okay, we'll just take a while.
It's okay, it's not the first one.
Take a while to acclimatize, that kind of thing. And I was just getting bored a couple of days in. I still had the bandages on my feet, but I decided what I'd do is, I was too intimidated to go to the fighters class, you know. So I thought, okay, I'll try the advanced class, see what it's like. And I went in early in the morning, and there was only like one other dude training that day. So I was like, oh, lucky, you know, I'll just be in the corner, hit the bag a little bit, you know. No one will notice me, like, I'll hide. And like I said, there's only one other guy there, so I get spotted, and they're like, you, come here. And I'm like, okay. They're like, who are you? I'm like, I'm a new guy. And they're like, okay, you spot him. And I was like, I really didn't want to do that, because also I don't want to show, you know, anything, because I also just want to...
Yeah, you wanted your little observation period.
Yeah, and I'm really bad shape as well, so I don't want to, you know, so they
I'm not going to show my best light here.
So they throw me in the ring with this red-headed Icelander. Cool, I've never met a guy from Iceland before. His name's Sam, he's a really cool dude. And he didn't have a lot of experience of fighting in general, and I'd done a lot of fighting before. And so we started sparring, and I couldn't help myself, man. I could see his punches coming, so I'd just be like, like, you know, just slip him and stuff. And I'm like, you know, it's just like, because I'm not going to let him hit me. Because I also didn't know the guy, so I was like, you know, what's going on, kind of thing, you know. And he just couldn't hit me. He was moving really awkwardly, and I just thought, well, no. So I just started battering him. And the trainers were just like, what's going on? Because they could tell from the way I was moving, I suppose, like the fluidity. Like I told you, like a good martial artist, like a beginner,
bridging the gaps.
It's just like playing a violin, isn't it? I heard that reference when I was a kid, and it's so true. Like a good violinist listens to a beginner and he's just gonna cringe, right? It's exactly the same thing with the martial arts. A fighter watching someone else doing pads or fighting or doing whatever, even the way you walk across the road, they can tell the way you move. They can tell your experiences. It's like they're playing those notes and it's smooth and flows, and like, okay,
it's all in the transitions, right?
That's it. So I was maybe transitioning a bit too well, and they were like, upset you, what you doing here? You just come to beat up this guy. I'm like, no, not like that. I'm trying to take it easy. I was taking it easy. Like I was, you know, like hitting him, but I was going very soft, but he just wasn't able to hit me, and I was dancing around him, you know. So they got upset, but I wasn't by any means like hurting him or anything, but they were just like, what the hell are you doing here? Like, you don't belong here, you need to go to fighters class. And I'm like, no. So they call the trainers over fights, like, you come get this guy, like, he's bullying guys here. And I'm like, no, I'm not bullying anyone here, like, what's going on? And I'm like, oh god, I'm still limping a bit because my foot's sore, so I'm like, I can't go to fighters class. Like, I've now been grabbed and taken to fighters class. This is the first day I met Lai Mong Kong as well. The guy became my main trainer for a while. And he was in a bad mood about something as well, and someone had told him that apparently I'd been bullying someone, which I wasn't. He just couldn't hit me, it was a difference. So he's like, you come in the ring now, you want sparring, you want boxing? And I was like, okay. But at the moment, I was also a bit miffed at the moment as well, because I was a bit annoyed about being called a bully and stuff, and I was like, I wasn't a bully, I didn't do anything I was supposed to do, so I'm a bit annoyed. And now this cheeky, skinny Thai guy is like calling me up in front of everyone, and like, oh, come boxing. So I was like, boxing? Only boxing? And he's like, yeah. I'm like, only boxing? And I was like, you're gonna regret this, my friend, because I'm like, oh, I'm gonna kick your fucking ass, you know what I mean? You can kick an elbow and shit, but I can box, motherfucker. What I didn't know was that he was an all Japan boxing champion, and he fought nationally for Thailand as a boxer, not to mention his illustrious, awesome Muay Thai career. He was an actual boxer as well. To this day, I haven't seen the moves that he used on me that day anywhere. I haven't even seen Floyd Mayweather pop angles. Like, he does this awesome deflect body shots with his elbow and like perfect transition uppercuts, like clean off him. Like, just I've never even seen moves like that before. I was like, what the hell? So we get into it. I'm getting my ass kicked to me, but I'm a tough boy, so I survived the first round, and I gave him a few good shots, you know.
So I mean, you're sparring hard.
Yeah, because it was like one shot, and he's like, oh, you think you're good? Because I gave him a few, you know, good tut, and he's like, oh, bang, kind of thing. He was like, oh, you banged me, and I was like, oh, bang you, bang, and then
back,
escalate, and then it's like, now we're in the ring, you know. Everyone's come around the ring and they're watching, kind of shit, and like.
Yeah, so you guys are basically fighting.
I'm getting jacked up, but I'm holding my pride, standing my ground, and I've given him some good shots, but you know, so screw you, kind of thing, you know. So we're in the corner, and he's just looking at me, smiling, like, and I'm like, what the? At the time, I thought, oh, this punk, you know. he was just sussing me out that whole time. I've been fighting for my life. He's just been sussing me out, kind of thing.
Basically, could have broken you in half at any point.
Yeah, he's just like, okay, just, you know, he had to just wanted to just tie away, you know. What's this guy got, kind of thing. And that was the thing. Second bell goes. I must have survived a quarter of the round, not even. And the fact that I survived the quarter of the round is mostly because I was running. You know, just stepping back, just punching and constantly stepping back and punching.
Just and striking, yeah.
I just couldn't do anything, man. I couldn't. I mean, I was slick. I was quick. I'm not as good as I'm not as good then. I'm not as good. I wasn't as good then as I am now, obviously, with the training and stuff. But man, I'd never been so impressed. Then mom said that was what was wrong with me as a person. It's just that I really enjoyed the people that really beat. If you could beat me up really well, I couldn't help but admire you. Do you know what I mean? Like, if it was a perfect technique, like, I've been punched, for example, like in the street.
Yeah, I mean, you're admiring your opponent.
And it's just like, oh man, that was a great punch. But then you're like, hold on, I just got punched. And then you're like,
I can't give him that.
The rage kicks in. But I always have this weird mental tick where, like, for a second, I'm out of the situation. And I can just appreciate that, the awesomeness. Even though if I was the one getting smashed, and that's why mom said there's always something wrong with me. And this was kind of the thing. I was really appreciating the way he was kicking the shit out of me. Another trainer had to jump in to literally save me because I was like, I got knocked really bad and the head was spinning. I was seeing like quadruple vision and I'm going down. If I had hit the floor on the way down, I probably would have been clean out. But I got jumped, and this is when I met another trainer, Yod. It was the first time I met Yod. He jumped in like dramatically to save me, stopped my head from hitting the floor, kind of thing. Told me it's okay, you not die, okay. And
so wait, did dude put you down?
Like, he was going to put me down. Like, he was going to put me down, and he had knocked me and rocked me, and I was on the way down, and Yod jumps in to save me. He's like, no, okay. And
this is your first day.
This is my very first day at Tiger Muay Thai. I got just shit kicked out of me, and I was still like really bad, really like poorly from being, food poisoning and that kind of thing, and. So that's kind of how it started, and I used to get beat up quite a bit when I first started. It's like that weird line before respect, where it's like, that's how much you've got.
Let's see some more.
Yeah, you earned your but that's as much as you're getting.
Okay.
So Lam Kong beat me up quite frequently from that point onwards, but I think it was the weathering of that beating and the fact that I always lashed back that won him over. And then eventually took me under his wing. And we became best buddies for a long time. He actually massively affected the way I thought about fighting. He taught me a lot about Muay Thai. Under his wing, as him being my sole trainer essentially at the time, I went 10-0 with him as my trainer. Nine straight KOs with him. And then I got swapped around, and gym politics and yada yada yada. And Lam Kong also felt that like I'd gotten to a point where like he thought I was very proficient, so he was very happy with my technique. He said I kicked like a Thai, that kind of thing. Makes me feel awesome, it's a big one of those cozy moments when your trainer said that to you. But so then he thought, it was time for me to move on to a different training to get a different feel. But also he liked to focus. He gets put, because his English is fairly good and he's very patient and also very technical. He gets sent with a lot of the new guys to vet them up and to help develop them as fighters, which is what he did to me. So I was at the point, so now it was time to move on to different trainers, different trains of thought, that kind of thing, different techniques, So then I fluctuated between a few different trainers after that, and just started my fighting career. And my first pro fight was with the trainer who trained Lai Mong Kong, Pinong or Sanong. He's become my head trainer now, mostly my trainer now, but I've gone through a few other guys while I've been here in Thailand.
Okay, so then I guess that started a pretty rigorous series of frequent fights.
Yeah, lots of bangs to the head.
Let's talk about that. I know you had a bad injury.
Yeah.
What happened there?
Which one? The worst injuries I've ever had have all been at gym or directly due to training. I've come out of fights beautifully. I mean, the worst I've gotten in a fight, I've been cut, I've had stitches. The worst in one fight was I needed 16 stitches after a fight, but that's literally nothing. I mean, I know it looks hardcore and it sounds dodgy, and it is. The worst part about being cut is being stitched. The getting cut part, it's easy, anyone could do it, I promise you. It's warm, it's like, oh, what's going on? You're not even sure, kind of thing. It feels like a bump or a punch, it's not that bad. So that's kind of the worst thing that's ever happened to me. Not even a mild concussion, nothing. I mean, out of fighting, no. But training, I've had multiple concussions. I've had all kinds of visions, triple vision, double vision, purple vision, green vision, blue vision, static.
Ninja Turtle vision.
I've lost periods of time. Some as short as a few hours, some as long as 9-10 hours, completely gone. And sometimes previous memory as well. Like if I got the knock on a Friday, I'd forget everything from that point on. I'm behind. So like Thursday, Wednesday, Tuesday, Monday, gone. Like just don't ever get back. Christmas
deleted from hard drive.
Christmas and the week after Christmas, 2012. I don't have. That's a part of memory that doesn't exist. I don't have. I just don't have it.
You tell me you had an incident where you had a brain hemorrhage.
Yeah, that's amongst the worst. Almost tore my Achilles off, and then brain hemorrhage and right eye hemorrhage were the last of the nasties. Essentially, an accumulation of too many hits, dodgy old school jungle training with a trainer that I don't train with anymore. Was very crazy. He didn't like me slipping and sliding and dodging punches. To him, if you dodge the punch, that means that you were scared. Only girls do that. Real men take a punch. You know, they block a punch. And if you disagree, I'll give you a punch. And then you'll block his punch. And you're like, okay. So I got a lot of hits in the head just training during the week. Like if you get upset kind of thing, you bang in the head or whatever kind of thing as well. So I was getting hit in fights and in training consistently. And I wasn't allowed to fight like myself anymore. I had to stand my ground and fight the way he wanted me to fight. They call it pure strength style, you know,
sure.
Not slipping and sliding, you know, which is what I do. And so we got into an argument one day at the gym over some silly thing he said, and I got a hit in the head. It was a little harder than normal. I had to go to the hospital to get a scan afterwards because my vision went funny and didn't correct itself for a while.
How much time are we talking? Like
I was supposed to take over 3 hours, 4 hours maybe. Vision wasn't right. It was a bit unnerving after the first hour.
So we're talking like you're seeing double or like
triple of everything.
So after taking the shot, you're
he had one hell of a hook, man. It's like a little Tyson a little bit. So anyway, I was supposed to take a month off, but I couldn't because that's not how it works in Thailand. Concussion, you can get 2 days off if you're lucky. But I had fights booked, and the problem is that you can't fights that have been booked, and especially for a long time, it's really hard to get out of. You better have a real good excuse kind of thing. And I needed the money as well, which is another common trait amongst fighters of all disciplines, of all styles. So I got back in the ring maybe 2 weeks after that. Oof. And was fine, had 2 fights, came through them okay, but kept taking bangs. And also there were a lot of idiots at the gym. A lot of the bullies got sent to the fighters class to get straightened out. A lot of the time those guys are big. They might not know what they're doing, and they're big, so you can handle them, but you're still taking hard knocks consistently every now and then, do you know what I mean? And an accumulation of that, the blows I was getting from my trainer and all the fighting. One day I started running and my vision just started blurring, like really badly, and I was just getting headaches like all the time, like running and I get headaches and stuff. But after the last fight that I had locally, I was given my first shot at second shot at Rush Stadium. I'd lost the first one when I almost tore my Achilles the year before, overtraining. And I was just like, oh god, this is it. This is the dream stadium. This is the dream since I was a kid. Like, this is the ultimate stage. Like, you know, so I was ignoring all this pain and warning signs I was getting and just kept, you know, just getting on with it.
Because that's what you'd been working for.
Yeah, this is it. That's it. It's been the dream ever since, you know. Didn't think I'd survive the first fight, but when I did, then I got a taste for how far could I go, and then that is as high as you can go as far as I'm concerned as Rush. You know, it's the top of the ladder. So I kept pushing for it. Every time I punched the bag or anything, excruciating pain. But again, just ignored it, and then one morning came.
So like basically any shock to your body, even if you're creating it, is just rattling.
Agony. Like I felt like I was gonna throw up sometimes because of it. So I carried on like an idiot, and one day after sparring, I started feeling really weird. Like that was another thing. I was not performing well because every little pat, even if I was blocking a punch, it just hurt so much. I was just running a lot, you know, which pissed the trainer off, and you know. Anyway, one day I come out of the ring after training one day, and the weirdest thing happens. It's like there were 2 me's, one of me was the functioning, seeing me, and the other one was just another commentator. And I can, it's like I'm watching a movie, but I'm in the movie, and I am the movie. I don't even know how to explain it, but I'm coming through the ropes, and I can see myself, and I can see, I'm very aware of what's going on. And then the commentator, Marcel, comes in, and then that voice is like, you need to be very careful, you need to be very careful. I'm like, hold on, who's that? You know what I mean? I never think to myself, why did you say that to yourself? Why did you say be very careful? And then the voice came back on again, and it was just like, the stairs, watch the stairs, watch the stairs, watch the stairs. And I was like, what's going on? And I remember thinking, my feet feel weird, like they're like doom, doom, like ducky, like doom, doom. And I'm like, what's going on? Like, and this voice is like, be careful, be careful, be careful. And I'm like, something's wrong. And then apparently I went to go sit in the sit-up bench, but then I felt funny, so I stood up again, and then and that's when my memory disappears. And then, according to some of my friends that were training there, I just fell clean over from standing to straight on my face.
Oh, you just face planted?
Yeah, and just started puking. And they said, like, I was face first in it. They turned me over, freaking out, what's going on.
So your face plant started just swimming in your own
vomit.
They
said I was as white as a sheet. My lips had gone blue, everything. They literally thought I literally just insta-died, like, on the spot. They thought I was dead, like, freaking out and shit. And
it looked like you dropped dead and died in your own puke.
Yeah, and they said the discoloration in the skin, they said it was the most unnerving part.
I think you must have looking like a cadaver, man.
Well, apparently, I don't know, anything.
So,
the last thing I remember, like I said, is that commentary in my head that I need to be careful, and me questioning the commentary as to who are you, what's going on. And then next thing I know, I'm looking up at my manager, I think it was, and my wife, and I was like, what the fuck, what's going on? And they're like, and the wife's full of emotion, and I'm like, what's going on? And I'm like, oh, and then I look at my arm, and I've got these pipes coming out of me, and then they fill me in on what's been happening, and I've been out for a while, and I'm like, what? And you thought it was Monday, but it's actually Saturday now or something. That really upsets me sometimes, is when I come back. I have this weird thing the doctor said was where normal people, you get hit in the jaw and you get knocked out, you go to sleep, right? You're just completely out, you go to sleep. I've got this weird thing where I can get knocked out, but my body doesn't go to sleep. Now, that can be very dangerous because I'm not here anymore. I quit. Baby Sumo is here. I like to say that's Baby Sumo, the master one. And that creature functions somewhere in the...
Yeah,
I don't even know.
In the depths of your
reaches
cranium,
of the brain, like running on muscle memory and stuff like that. And I've driven home in those states.
The
That's
instinct
scary.
beast.
And they say this is probably what happens when I've been fighting. They said they're worried that when I've been fighting, I've been hit sometimes, and they haven't been aware that I've actually been out. But I've carried on fighting. If people say that when I'm out like that, I look completely normal. I've had friends say that like everything was normal. I had sparred with them, I did pad work with them, I did bag work with them, and I had no idea I wasn't there. And then I go, what's going on? What's going on? Where am I? And I have no idea how I got there. And they're like, what? And like, my wife's she's learned to click on.
So there must be like Marcel's tweaking right now.
Yeah, so the doctor said that was kind of what was going on as well. There was something funky going on in the brain work.
So what was the diagnosis?
Just too many He asked me if I'd been in a car accident. Because he said the only time that ever seen a problem like mine was due to scooter or motor vehicle incidents. Just explosion in the head. So it was just too much pressure. It just popped, and then the right eye blew as well. Because when I woke up, there were these weird things in the room, and I was like, "Guys, what's that? You're floating in the air." And they're like, "What are you talking about?" And then I had my eye checked out, and my eye was full of blood. So I was literally seeing
patches of blood in front of your eyes.
Like a circle of blood, like. And then when you went up to light, I was like, "Oh, it's blood," because back to the red and stuff. And like, "Oh, this eye still isn't 100%." But
So how long ago was this?
Maybe 9 months, 10 months now, 11 months maybe. Not long ago.
So how much time did you take off after that?
Man, it was almost completely off after that. The first thing I got told when I opened my eyes was that I was lucky I didn't die. And then when I finally got hold of an English-speaking person that could tell me what happened to me, because the thing that freaked me out the most was I've woken up in hospital.
Where'd you go? Like up to Phuket town?
No, Vichira Hospital. I got rushed to the government hospital.
Okay.
And horrible, worse than Africa in there. Worse than African hospitals, and I'm African, so I should know. But so the worst part is I wake up and I feel 100%. Everyone around me is freaking out. They're like, "Oh God, I can't believe you're conscious and you're awake," and they're all there. And I'm like, shut up, leave me alone, I need to get home, what's going on? I feel 100%. The only person that's there is this Thai woman, Thai nurse, that every time I try to get up, she'd scream at me, you die, you die, you die, don't move, you die. So I'm like, oh God, what do you mean? Like, what's happened to me? What's going on? No one can tell me what exactly had happened to me, what was going on. So I had to get Will Elliott to come a couple days later and break me out of the hospital, took me to Phuket, because they wouldn't release me because I might die or whatever. So I went to Phuket, got all my scans redone, that kind of shit, spoke to proper, well, wouldn't say proper, but they could speak English, a little bit of it, and to kind of explain what had happened to me, kind of thing. And they were like, you could have died, like, you know, you could have had the entire, best case scenario, the entire left side of your body could have been permanently disabled, kind of thing. And I was like, oh, wow, yeah. And the wife had come in and she told me how, you know, when she got to the hospital, I still wasn't conscious, I was all white, and she literally said she thought she lost me and stuff, so I had to deal with a lot of what she was going through. And then I was told, never box again, and that hit me like a sledgehammer, man, because last thing I remember, I was in gym training for one of the biggest fights in my life. Now you're telling me I'll never do it again. Now you're telling me one punch could kill me. Any kind of knock could kill me. So like, I'm not just, now I'm terrified. I'm like, what are you talking about? Firstly, I don't believe it because I feel completely fine. And then secondly, you're telling me that like, anything. What if I accidentally bumped my head against the wall, fell off the bed or something? You telling me that could kill me? Like, you know what I mean? They're like, sorry, you know what I mean? Like, that was soul crushing, man. And then, the pain. Oh, God. And the first hospital, the shitty hospital, it was pumping me for the... In Thailand, they like to give you drugs you don't need. I apparently had not had a hemorrhage. There was a worry that I might have a hemorrhage because I had a big tear in my brain, so, you know, it apparently happens. But I did not have a hemorrhage. But they were still giving me hemorrhage medicine, though, which is questionable. There are lots of it. And other meds, for example, they were giving me that I didn't need. There was a whole list of them. Because I demanded to find out what they were pumping into me after a while, you know, and I became very aware of the fact that they maybe didn't know what the hell they were doing. And a lot of them, wasn't necessary. They were giving me way too much tramadol. And I got side effects from a lot of drugs, and so they increased the pain, for example, and muscle seizures and that kind of stuff, which was great when I had a brain tear and, you know, eye hemorrhage. And man, there was nothing they could give me. I remember I've always resented everyone in my family and some of my friends for breaking arms and legs when they were kids, because I haven't broken a bone in my entire life, still to this day. I've torn and ruptured everything.
Amazing.
But I've never broken a single bone in my entire life.
Unbelievable.
So I was not lucky enough to get morphine, right? Like everyone else was. And they all had these great stories about how nurses gave them this little clicky and they were like, wee! You know, next thing you know, they were over the moon and completely forgot that their arm was broken, that kind of shit. And I'd always missed out on it, right? And then they made it illegal to give people patents anymore at hospital because apparently they turned to junkies or whatever. And I'm like, damn it, now I'm never going to get morphine. And the one day, man, the pain was so bad. I was screaming. I just wanted them to kill me. It was just like, it had a noise, you know what I mean? Like the volume was a taste. It was like my nose.
Was in where in your body?
Oh man, my head, it was. I felt like I could feel it in my toes, but I knew it was coming from my head.
So your brain was just
and the eye, man. They both had massive tears and holes in them.
And that's central in your skull.
Dude, there's nothing I could do, man.
Escape. Yeah.
It was like a noise, you know what I mean? Like I was like water coming up my nose. It was 24/7 for a month. It was 24/7 before they got the right meds, and so I didn't know what I thought. I was going insane. Like it was insane.
That'll drive you insane, man.
Oh man! And this is it. There's one day I'm screaming at them, and I'm just like, do something. I'm biting into the sheets. I'm just like, I can't take it, you know. And I'm wreathing around. They're trying to hold me down to the bed so I don't pull out all the cords and shit. And eventually I'm screaming, give me something. And then I hear one of these Thai chicks say, morphine. And I just remember thinking, it was this insane calm in the storm, you know what I mean? Where there was this moment of clarity in the middle of the hurricane. And I remember coming out of everything just for a split second thinking, oh my God, it's finally happening, right? And you remember when you were 13 and your friend broke his arm and he told you all about his trip to the hospital, and I just get flushed full of all these good emotions, and any second now it's gonna stop. I'm not gonna feel it. It's gonna be great. I'm not gonna feel it. And she comes along with this big ass syringe of it, and she sticks it into the arm, and I can feel the cold hit my veins. I can feel the cold coursing through my arm, and nothing. That's I think when I started crying and just weeping because
the good stuff doesn't work.
And they said they'd given me as much as they could give me, and there was just. I'm not sure if I passed out at that point or not. I was lucky enough to get 5-10 minutes of reprise every now and then. It would be too much, and my body would just switch me off. And then in 5-10 minutes, I wake up again screaming.
Oh, dude,
and so my body it had too much. It was exhausting. To tell the truth. The pain was like you're sweating from a hard run where you're so tired you can't walk up the stairs. You need to sit in the curb for a while. Like that's what the pain. That's what it did to me. It racked me. Just no sleeping. Like and then the eye, man, the pain, the light sensitivity, everything was insane. Eventually, when I got released, I was given an array of medications and things that I don't like, but I wasn't fighting them at the time. And it was this one specific tablet. It was massive. It looked like a hexagon. And the doctor said, listen, because of my extreme pain and that kind of stuff, they've agreed to give me this tablet, right? But you can only have one every 24-hour period. And you need to stop having them completely after you've had the short period of course that you're allowed to have for annually
4 or 5 days,
whatever,
after that,
you know. And it became very apparent that the missus had to go to work. When she went to work, she had to take the tablets with her because
you were like, this is the candy that works.
The rest of them, if you were to have your speaker on full blast and you were to just turn the knob a little bit down to the point where it was bearable. It was just above bearable, where it's like, oh, it's a little bit bad, but I can function. I can breathe now. Yeah. That's what the pain meds were doing for me. At best. So I'd go from wanting to just die because the pain was so much, it was debilitating. I couldn't breathe. I wanted to puke. To the neighbor's having a party, but it's okay. It's not bad. It's a Saturday. I'll take it. That's what it was at. That was the best I could get. That was the best I could get.
And listen, I sympathize because I hate noise pollution. That's a good description, man.
With this one tablet, man, that could bring the volume down to about a 10 maybe. And then it was just like, I could sit up. That was great. I could actually sit up and if I could look around. I'm still in a lot of pain, but now I can look around and stuff. And I'm like, okay, cool. Like, you know what I mean? Like, maybe I can.
You must have felt like wanting to die, dude. Like, dude. It's just, you can't live like this. So okay,
even when that stopped, and then my brain recovered dramatically quickly as far as the doctors were concerned. Within days of the original scan, the brain was already healing really quickly. It was completely gone after a couple of weeks, so they couldn't tell where the damage was initially, kind of thing. Okay. Which is apparently a good sign. Also the fact that I could still string sentences together. Yep. They wanted me to do all kinds of brain exercises because they were worried about my cognitive abilities, which was just annoying.
So how long were you hospitalized for?
I'm not sure.
Talking weeks, months?
No, not that long. I demanded to be let out after a while because, like I said, as far as I was concerned, I was fine. I had massive depth perception problems. I was in shattering pain, but I'd rather be in shattering pain at home than in shattering pain in the fucking hospital. Yeah. Thank you very much. Yeah. That's my word. You can quote me that. I don't go to hospitals, period. Unless I love you, I'm not coming to visit you. I'll drop you off at the door, but that's about it. That's where sick people go to die. Why would you go to a hospital? You want to catch something? That's why you want to go, right? If you're not sick or if you're not dying, you don't go to a hospital. Because if you're sick, you're going to get worse, right? I hate them. I just hate them. I hate hospitals. So I just don't want to go. So I would just, like I said, I'd rather be in excruciating pain at home. There were times I had to be rushed back to the hospital 3 in the morning when it just got too much, and but like I said, if I wasn't needed to be hooked up to a machine, I'd rather be at home. So that was what I did. As soon as they legally let me out of the hospital. Well, I had to sign a lot of paperwork to get me out of there because they didn't want to be liable if I died in the taxi on the way home, kind of thing. Yep. But I wasn't having none of it, man. As far as I was concerned, I felt fine, and that was what the most unnerving thing was. I felt 100%. I thought everyone around me was just fucking crazy. This pain thing, okay, I can get you. I understand. I'm in a lot of pain, but other than that, I feel completely fine. You're all just crazy, and you're telling me I can't do things, and I'm lucky to be able to. No, you're crazy. So I just didn't believe it, and that was the hardest part, Wasn't allowed to do sit-ups. Wasn't allowed to walk for the first couple of weeks I was at home. They wanted me to sit down and watch TV. That was the doctor's plan for me, for my day, was to sit down. I trained twice a day, every single day, and have done since I didn't even know how old. I've done Muay Thai for like a decade. You're gonna tell me that's my day to sit down and watch? Are you crazy? 3 hours a day, 3 hours twice a day. You know what I mean? 2.5 hours a day. Every single day. You telling me, and that's all I could do now was sit at home, like. And the worst part was the pity as well. It made me feel so bad. Everyone's sympathy, obviously, thank you. You know, I was very grateful for the emotion and people cared and that kind of stuff. But I hated it. I hated it so much because I was also worried that I was now
to the 20th power here.
Yeah, and I was worried that I was broken now. You know, this is what the doctor was telling me. I was broken, and I was seen as a liability and weak, and it really upset me because I couldn't defend anyone anymore, could I?
No, but look, man, you came back. You fought a bunch of times since then. How'd you get back to fighting?
It wasn't easy. The wife was completely against it, obviously. Like, just
yeah, the doctors are saying now if you take a good shot, you could go down.
And as a wife, she has a lot of power legally as well. So she kind of has to, you know, even my managers, my gym owners, like they wanted her to be present for the meetings, kind of thing, because they would go over her head, you know. And she wasn't okay with it at first, and I was just begging her because I've always been an active person and I need to do something, and just to be able to run with, please, you know what I mean, just please let me run. And after a few months, 4 months, 3 months, she agreed to give me my running shoes back and let me go for a run. And I started off jogging, that kind of thing, and then I started feeling strong. I felt strong, and then I just kept jogging, and I was running longer and longer, and then hang around the gym, checking things out. But then I felt so sad being around the gym, and I felt so embarrassed as well. I felt like I was pathetic. I was broken, like, you know. It wasn't enough. So I couldn't be there for a while. I resented everyone that was still able to train, and I didn't like resenting them for it. And it was just a whole vicious circle, so I tried to keep away. And then eventually I started coming back slowly, and then just trying to perk myself up, you know what I mean? Yep. If I sat at home crying, that's what I'd do, is just sit at home and crying, and that's not my style. So I need to be around people, need to forget what's bugging me, do you know what I mean? So I started hanging out with some friends, and I hang out at a tattoo parlor a lot with a friend of mine. Then I started doing some sit-ups and things, and then a bit of push-ups here and there, and then, you know, then I started being the water boy at the gym, you know, in classes, and just and then it was Will's idea that I do a pad holders course. I'd helped pilots before, but he said, let's make it official and it'll give you something to do, you know, keep you busy. Yep. I thought, yeah, cool, let's do that. So I did that for a while, and then started holding pads for some of the fighters, for my friends and things, you know, hanging out with the trainers a lot. And then started hitting the bag a little bit, which I was told not to do, but I didn't feel any pain this time when I hit the bag, so I was softly, slowly, you know, don't tell anybody, kind of thing.
After hours.
Every time somebody saw me near the bag, like, what are you doing? I'm like, nothing, like, you know what I mean? Everyone was like that.
The bag insulted me.
Yeah, I just wasn't allowed to. Everyone gets so upset with me. Everyone, friends, staff at the gym, everyone like, you can't stay away from the gym, you can't do that, you know what I mean? And then eventually people started getting more confidence, I suppose. I started forgetting that I'd been broken, because I was like, you know, and then I started sparring very lightly with some people that I trusted, kind of thing, you know, and then it really started bugging me that I felt okay, and I've now, I think with the rest, my body hadn't gotten from the first 2 years that I hadn't stopped training. I was feeling awesome. My body was feeling stronger than it ever had. I was faster than I ever was, and now it's driving me crazy because now I've been told I can't do it anymore. But now I'm in better shape than I've ever been, and I seem to be better at fighting as well. My brain seems to be clearer on certain subjects.
It got rewired in a good way.
Yeah, my stance changed. I used to be an orthodox. Now I'm southpaw.
You know, it reminds me like when 50 Cent got shot, you know, the rapper 50 Cent.
He shot a lot of times.
And he took one of the bullets through his mouth. And he would say after, it's like it fixed my instrument. You know, he was a rapper before that, and he just couldn't find the right mojo. And then he took a bullet to the face and through the mouth, and then
that
he
was
became 50 Cent.
That was a missing spice, you know? Yeah.
So it's funny how, you know, an injury or a violent incident like that or something like that, you went down, it could somehow jolt something in a positive way.
That is the weirdest thing, because it should have been the end for me.
Yeah.
but it seems that somehow it creates it's giving me a second chance almost. Like I'm telling you, man, I think I'm better than I used to be. At first I was really nervous, especially my first fight. I was shitting myself. I thought that I could die, and this was it. Like, it was like, oh God, you know, I could die, and I'd made peace with myself. I promised the wife I wouldn't, but secretly I'd made peace with the fact that I might die.
Yeah, at that point she has nothing to do with it once you're in that ring.
Man, she was terrified as well. I always love her for letting me get back in that ring, even though she wanted nothing but to keep me away from it. You know, I did put a lot of pressure on her, and I'm sorry for that. I've apologized to her for that as well.
But you won that fight by
I
knockout.
needed to, man. Yeah, I did. I won that by knockout. I was well happy with that. But man, the whole time I was like, don't hit me in the head, don't hit me in the head, don't hit me in the head, and that's exactly what happened. Boom! And then I was like, okay, well, we might as well go as long as we're still conscious, you know? And yeah, I came back, won that one by knockout. Was still shitting myself, so even though I'd won, I was like, oh, it could have been a fluke, could have whatever, you know. And then just had to know, I had to be sure. The most important thing, it was horrible that I had my career taken away from me, my passion. But the most important thing for me was finding out where I stood, which is originally why I came here, was to find out where I stood. Like with my training, like I told you, what's the point in training for 10 years and you never get into a fight? How are you going to know if you can fight? So how do you know if you wasted the last 10 years? You should have been sitting on the beach, man. You should have been buying cocktails with that money, not spending on gym fees. You know what I mean? I needed to know that I could do what I've been training to do. And now I needed to know if I was broken or not. I needed to know if I was a liability, do you know what I mean? That if someone needed my help, could I still do it? Could I still defend myself? Could I still defend my wife, my family? You know what I mean? Like, am I one touch away from just dying? I needed to know. So the second fight happened.
Crazy.
Because I needed to know. I'd rather die and find out than live the rest of my life on eggshells going, oh God, like if I slip, I might bump my head. Oh God, oh God. No. Fuck that shit. I'd rather die right now than live like that for 10 more years. Kiss my ass. There's no way in hell. There's no way in hell. So, sorry.
So the second fight, you won that one by knockout too?
By knockout, yeah. And then I got a little excited. I was still really rusty. But at this point now, I'd gotten back to my old self a little bit. And I'd become very very critical of myself. And I was like, okay, well done. But I was like tearing myself apart, like watching the videos and stuff. And like moving so funny and I'm so sluggish and what's going on and stuff. And then I realized that I wasn't feeling very comfortable. And then I started thinking, why would that be? You know what I mean? I'm Orthodox. I'm fighting an Orthodox, like a lot of time. You know, I've always been a little bit ambidextrous, like, you know.
Yeah.
I played with the southpaw a little bit, but you know, I couldn't really do it. And then one day I was at the gym. I think it was somewhere between the second and third fight. I started shadowboxing. It was going on, and I remember thinking, oh, I'm feeling really good today. And then I looked down at myself, and my right foot was forward, and I was like, what the hell? I'd been in southpaw the whole time. I'd been thinking about it. My body had naturally just gone to Orthodox before. And it was a big shit. Dude. The trainers still want to train me in Orthodox though, so I had to still do my pad work. But bag work, sparring, everything else. Fights, I try to be in southpaw as much as possible now, but because the trainers have been with me for so long, they know that I used to be Orthodox, so it upsets them. And I can hear them shouting at me in the ring, go back! So I have to turn back to Orthodox, and then I feel awkward again. But it's the weirdest thing. I feel so wrong in Orthodox now. It feels like I'm pretending. Do you know what I mean?
Yep.
Whereas I used to pretend to be a southpaw, and now I feel like I'm pretending to be an Orthodox.
It's part of that rewiring shit, dude.
Yeah. And then that happened. I started getting really critical of the performance, and that's when I started like trying to get my fluidity back, kind of thing. And then around the third fight, I think I found myself, and then there was the weird realization that I might be better, and people were commenting. People were saying it as well, like that you might be a bit better. You know, I'm moving very well and that kind of stuff. And I've been watching a performance, and there were things I could do that I wasn't able to do before. There were timing gaps and periods that I've always seen but wasn't able to reach, kind of thing. Like,
well, we talked about the start of the show,
like,
dude. We were talking about the transitions.
Yeah.
And the transitions are getting smoother, right?
There was my second last fight now when I won the Bangla belt. In the, I think it's fourth or fifth round, there's this moment where I land this uppercut when my opponent's coming towards me. I did some of my best boxing in that fight ever. I couldn't believe it was me. I couldn't stop watching that tape. It was like watching someone else fight, you know. I was very happy with the boxing performance. There was some great boxing combos. But my favorite boxing in the entire fight was like a split second where he was rushing me and I'm like dashing backwards towards the rope. And just for a split second, he like reached one of his hands out, and there was this tiny little gap. And as I was moving backwards, I was able to see it, and I threw it, uppercut, and that's all it was before he came crashing into me. But I was able to see it, and I was able to get it, and I threw it, and bang, this one uppercut landed, and I can still feel the grin in my cheeks, and then we collided, and I clinched up with him. But there was this amazing little window that didn't even exist before my hemorrhage. Do you know what I'm saying? I
it's
never
like
even
hitting
seen
a bullseye with a dart, you know?
So now I'm at the point where I feel like, I was thinking about retiring a year ago, but now I'm thinking like, hold on, I feel like I'm still growing, and then that's really exciting, because it's like, shit, I'm really tired of all the exercise. I really want to stop running and doing all the sit-ups and push-ups, and I'm tired of getting kicked in the head, but apparently I haven't stopped growing it, and that's
stuff to do.
Getting me very interested now as well. So I'm getting a little tingly around the idea of that. You know what I mean?
So I mean, after your accident, then you went 6-0 with 6 KOs.
Yeah, 6 straight wins, 6 straight KOs. Yeah.
Okay, then a little bit of a setback in your last fight. That was a couple days ago.
Yeah, like I said, I've had some fight cancellations. I was hoping to spend the last couple of weeks in Thailand, just relaxing, saying goodbye to people. I've been here for a long time, you know.
Where are you going next?
Ireland, Cork Island.
Okay, so that's to what, renew your paperwork? I mean, what, you going there to live?
Yeah, we're gonna go try it out for a little while. We're both big fans of the Irish.
Okay.
It's close enough to home for the missus for now.
Okay, so she's from
England, Plymouth, southwest England.
Oh, okay.
So yeah, we're gonna be there for a while, and it's her turn to pick anyway. She's given me 3 years in Thailand. Yeah. Now I owe her 3 years wherever she wants it, and she's chosen Cork Island. So no arguments, bags are packed, we're off. Which is also essentially why I'm leaving Thailand, because my ticket's up. She promised me 3 years. And I'm going to return the favor.
Well, that's crazy, man, because that's why I wanted to get you in here. I mean, I know I saw you on Saturday, and we didn't have the chance to do this podcast yet. Yeah. And you're one of the guys that I dig the most at Tiger. And I really wanted the opportunity to do this, and it hasn't disappointed. I've just been sitting here with my jaw on the floor as you've been telling your life story, and it's an awesome one. And you got crazy charisma and crazy, I don't know, you just got presence, brother, and I think it's awesome. It's fascinating to see somebody take the risks that you've done, and I mean, taking these fights after that incident. I mean, a lot of people wouldn't have done it, and obviously that's something that you felt you needed to do, and it sounds like you still feel you need to do. I mean, you gonna keep fighting?
You know, when you look
what happens when you get to Ireland?
Look at the human arm from the point of the boxer that my mother had created. The only offensive parts of it that I knew existed or believed existed were the tip, right? The fists. Not even the fingers, the fist. It had to be a combination of fingers. Fingers themselves individually, or even 3 of them together wasn't good enough. You needed 5, right? Fist. This is the only part of the arm that could be used to defend yourself. And that was just a failure as far as perspective's concerned, isn't it? Because Muay Thai showed me that I've got 2 things on my arm that I can use. In fact, a better understanding of the first, boxing, has now taught me that I have 3 parts of my arm that I can use offensively. The shoulder as well, both defensively and offensively, can be used very effectively. I've also learned to use it in Muay Thai. I love using my shoulder in the clinch. You never see it coming, that's you can defend, bangs the chin straight up.
Yep.
Right? It was just a way of seeing things, right? And everything comes down
somewhere too.
Well, that's it. But the point I'm trying to make is that everything comes down to that. Everything. So I don't consider what you think were big risks. I don't consider them as big risks. I consider them as the only way to move forward. You know, when I remember when 9/11 happened, there were these people obviously that couldn't escape the building, and they decided to jump from.
Yeah, no, I know.
And man, that had a big impact on me, because it was. Can you imagine? I mean, I've been in life in this situation, so I can tell you I know what fear is, my friend, and I also know what the scream for survival's like, you know. And everyone, I remember being a lot of negative comments about these people. Everyone's saying that they were weak, they were took the easy way out.
They were burning alive.
This is exactly my point, and it goes again to maturity, life experience, and perspective. Just like we're looking at the arm as either a mixed martial artist or just a boxer, right? Yeah. And these people chose. They chose to end it on their terms. They chose how they were going to end it. And they chose not to go the way of the flame. That to me is the most incredible strength you could ever hope to possess or to control. Ever. To live 10 years as a slave or 1 year as a freedom fighter. Honestly, it's easy for people to go, oh, no, you know what I mean? Someone will say, oh, I'll go for freedom fighter because they want to sound cool, or because they think it's a macho thing to say, or someone will say, oh, I'm going to play it safe and practical, so I'm going to go the slave kind of game. And they both got their merits. They're both viable. You know, they're both understandable. But it's not easy to say, obviously, you're willing to go off and die for a cause and to only have a year left to live, right? That's a big thing. It's a hardcore thing. But I tell you what, my friend, until you've been in servitude, until you know what it is to be a slave or to be shackled or to feel pain and fear on a constant basis, that year seems a lot richer to you than 10 years under someone's boot. Because we're all going to end up in the soil eventually, aren't we? We're all going to die. You have to die. You have to. That's the only way this life is possible. It's the only reason it's important, or that it's special, is because it has to happen. So we're all going to the same place, my friend. The only thing that you even have the smallest amount of power or control over are your decisions before then. So no, I do not consider it to be a big risk, and I don't think anyone else should either. It's the only way forward. When I was a little kid and I needed to take a piss so bad, my mom forgot to leave the light on in the passage once, and I had a choice: stand there and piss myself, or rage against the darkness and go get a piss. So I stood there, almost at the point of dribbling, and I couldn't do it anymore. I screamed out, if there was anything there, come out and do it quickly, because my bladder's about to explode, right? Yeah. Right? So do it quickly. And I stood there shitting myself, little drops coming out of me, I'm so scared. And I must have stood there for about 2-3 minutes and nothing happened. It was all up here, right? Yeah. And fear the dark, gone immediately like that. That's what life is. That's what those people did when they're jumping from this building. It's your choice. It's just a perspective. And I would much rather have one more day as a free, liberated individual than 20, 30, 40, 50 years as a servant to a slave or under a rock, or living in fear that the next knock might kill me. Forget that. You could offer me anything. Ferrari, Lamborghini, great house. It does not matter if the life I'm going to be living is the one that's in a tiny little hole where I'm constantly worried about being knocked. I mean, the boy in the bubble. What's the point? Right? Go out with a bang, man. Go out with a bang. So that's why I did it. So I'm sorry to be so long-winded about it, but I think it's an important life aspect, and I think everyone needs to stop and face up to that eventually. Yeah. You can run from the dark because there's light, okay, but there won't always be power, my friend. The light will die eventually. You can run from the water as much as you want, but eventually you might find yourself in a boat or on a plane that survives a crash, and now you're in the water. What do? The tide never stops. You learn to swim or you drown. Both are choices. Both are choices. The tide never stops. Never stops. Swim or sink is your choice, and all of life falls down by those rules. And that for me is exactly the same thing. The fear of the dark, or the fear of that one punch killing me, the fear of it's all the same thing. And if you bow to that fear, there's no point. There's no point. I taught myself to swim and jumping into a pool out of frustration. Because a cousin would never let me into the pool. In summer it was so hot in South Africa. My mom was a single mom, so she had to go off and work. So she'd leave me with my cousin Mark. He was like 6-7 years older than me, and him and all his friends were the cool guys in the neighborhood. You know what I mean? I was a stupid little kid that he had to look after. So I'd have to sit outside the whole day in the sun, watching them have fun in the pool, and I could never swim anywhere near the pool, and I'd get the shit kicked out of me. That was my life, huh? Then one day, my cousin Marky, he loved pigeons. It was his whole thing. He had a pigeon hook at the back of the house, and he used to have all, and something was going on. I can't remember what it was. He had some new rollers or something, and so they were swimming, and then he says, listen guys, I need to show something at the back. So they all mission off, right? There I am, first time ever, middle of summer, pool's empty, gates open, it's right in front of me. I had a choice. I didn't necessarily think about it too much, which was a mistake. Also, that was a big trait in my life. So I ran at the pool, I jumped. The second I hit the water, I realized where I was. Panicked because I didn't know how to swim. started fighting. I kicked and I punched and I kicked and I punched and I kicked and I punched. And guess what happened? My head raised up above the water. Ecstatic, I learned how to swim. Well, not as an orthodox man, but this is what happened. I remember sinking to the bottom, and I got angry. I was in the dark again. I got angry, so I went out swinging, and I started swinging and kicking. My head came up. I ran to the backyard. Marky, I can swim. Guess what I can do? And boom, slashed me across the face. What the fuck? Boom. So I'm like, I'm more than upset. I just gone through this life challenge. This I almost died, and I clawed myself out of it and taught myself to swim. I was looking for a high five, you know what I mean? Not a slap. So I ran away from him and I hid somewhere for like the rest of the day. I remember like I couldn't come out of this little hole or something. And waiting for mom to come home, right? Because she's gonna be ecstatic. She's gonna be happy, right? So mom comes home and she comes to the gate and I jump out and I'm like, mom. I tell her the whole story. Guess what she does? Boom! Now I understand why she did what she did, but I hated her for a long time for that, because I was like, you know. But that taught me a very important lesson that day, my friend. You know what I mean? And that's it. You either sit on the outside or you don't. I didn't know how to swim, but I was willing to take the risk. You know what I mean? You have to in life. Otherwise, what are you going to do? Do you know what life is? You work and you pay taxes. Is that what you want to do? That's what you're going to do, right? That's what those who live do. They pay them and pay taxes.
Yeah.
There's another way, my friend. There's another way. There always is.
Well, listen, dude, I think you've shown us the way. At least you've shown us the Marcel way. This was an awesome chat, dude. Well, listen, I know you're making a beeline for Ireland, and I hope this is an opportunity we're going to be able to revisit, a story we're going to be able to continue. That was a real pleasure, dude. Thanks for coming on the show.
Thank you for having me.
As far as social media goes, I know you're not the most active person on there, but you've got what do you got? You got a Facebook page?
Yeah, I got a Facebook page. I'm working on becoming more media wise, so I'm trying the whole Twitter, Instagram kind of thing. I'm still at the login phase. Man, I tried to join Twitter the other day, and they suspended my account. They're like, "Welcome to Twitter. You are now suspended." I was like, "What?"
I just got here.
Yeah, so I was kind of annoyed, and I said, "Screw it," and I haven't tried since. But I'll get back on it.
We'll get you up to speed.
But yeah, Facebook's pretty much where you can find me. Facebook and Gmail. Yeah.
Good. All right, Marcel, it was a pleasure having you on the show. This was the Trash Talk MMA podcast. I'm your host, Antoine Pelletier, with my guest, Marcel. I'm going to call him the geometrist, Gaines, because it's all a question of inches and
inches, percentages, and lines.
Exactly. Inches. What's the saying?
Inches, percentages, and lines.
That's right, man. That's what I'm saying. I trained with you for 4 or 5 days. I'm like, this guy's a geometrist. So we'll leave you guys on that note, man. Follow me on Twitter. Follow me on Facebook. Follow me on Instagram. Peace.
I don't want to hear it!
Thanks for listening to the Trash Talk MMA podcast.
Yeah.
Be sure to visit trashtalkmma.com.
On my face, behind my back, they talk trash.
And don't forget to follow Antoine on Twitter at Trash Talk MMA.
That's what you said.
Let us know you're listening.
Who the fuck said shit?
Use hashtag Trash Talk MMA.
I suppose with those conflicty kind of situations, it was a problem. I didn't want to talk about it because you're a man, especially this man. I was at 6 years old. I was the man of the house, so a lot of pride. But it became a big problem after a while. And my mom, being the genius that she is, she can smell problems. That woman. She cornered me one day in the kitchen. I was being a bit hesitant about going to school, I think. And she asked me what the problem was, and I just laid it out, which was very uncanny for me at the time because I didn't even thinking about it, and I was like, whoa. And I was just like, yeah, Mom, this is what's happening. I'm getting beat up. These guys, that just, I don't want to go to school. And
so you were getting bullied and smacked around, and
yeah.
How old were you?
6, 7, 6, about 6 and a half. I'm going 7.
Just a baby.
Yeah, man. I didn't know how to channel my rage, kind of thing, or I didn't know what to do with it, kind of thing. Like I get assaulted and I'm like, okay, like I wouldn't really like fight back or anything. I'd just be like, I'd feel lots of stuff, but I wouldn't like,
No, we've all experienced that.
Yeah, so Mom took me out to the garden and explained it all to me, life and big boys, little boys, that kind of thing. Taught me how to box.
So your mom taught you how to box?
Yeah.
Awesome.
I'm assuming she picked up some stuff from
Don't think
from
my mom
dad,
knows
or
how to throw a punch.
No, my mom's gangster. She can handle
She could
herself.
she could probably throw a mean kitchen knife or a wooden spoon, but a punch, no.
No, my mom and all of her sisters, they can all handle themselves. My mom,
Cool.
yeah, and a bit of wrestling. My mom and I do as well. She just, we mess around until the hormones kicked in. The mom was like, no. But yeah, she told me, but she made me swear that I'd only ever use it in defense. Never lay a hand on a woman unless she picks up a weapon, and then she's a man, and then I can do, and then
you can lay head
then
kicks.
all hats, all rules are off. It's
And
the
then it's
same
spinning
thing. Yeah,
heel
but
kicks.
other than that, doesn't matter what she does, I can't do anything about it. And never hit a man when he's down. That was what mom finished up. Never hit a man when he's down. So I go back to school, get the same kind of results, but this time I've got a bit of knowledge. And this is when I started getting curious about the whole exercise thing as well, because I'm quite sure that my dad's DNA must have percolated through, because I'll never forget it. It was one of the most mind-blowing experiences of my life. I think it was the first time had ever slowed down for me, There was this guy that was bullying a friend of mine at school, and I don't know what he'd done. We were in the sand pit, and that's where everyone always did it, like in primary school. When you're really young, there was a sand pit we always used to go by the tennis courts, and that's where like you'd handle the beef,
Yeah. In America, it's the bike racks.
Yeah. Okay, cool.
Let's handle this shit out by the bike racks.
All right, cool. So my friend was getting beat up, and this kid was a lot bigger, and I don't know why I did it, but it was just kind of just typical me, I suppose. But I just stepped forward, and I was like, "Oh, leave him alone," kind of thing, and then pick on someone your own size, even though I'm smaller. Mom said she always thought I had a screw loose, because I'd always step to bigger guys and be like, "Fight someone your own size." She said she didn't think I was aware of my actual stature, But
yeah, but you probably perceived yourself differently because you knew you had gifts that they didn't.
I think this was it. Like, I think the being fast and that kind of thing. I think
because it's not just
it gave me a confidence. I suppose
it's the speed, it's the athleticism, it's the IQ, it's the geometry.
Yeah, that's it. It's geometry. Luckily, I think I'm aware of that. But yeah. So anyway, the guy turned towards me and he was like, no, whatever. And I said, just went pop. Like my left hand just flew out, and it was crazy because, like I said, this was the first time I can remember ever time slowing down. I'm sure it's happened to everyone at some point in their life for whatever reason, but you know what I'm talking about.
Yeah, you get that Matrix camera.
It was quite problematic for me psychologically.
You got some siblings? You got brothers, sisters?
Yeah, 2 younger brothers.
Okay, so you were the oldest brother.
Yeah, so it was now my responsibility. I was told at 5 to sort things out, and that put a lot of pressure on me. Really freaked me out. And then I started becoming more aware of my environment, I suppose, because now I was acutely aware of having to defend things. And then, like I said, I'd figured out the difference in sizes, and you know what I mean. And I knew that a little kid was going to struggle against a bigger kid, for example, kind of thing. And then I realized I was only 5, and I was like, oh shit. And then I think about, okay, my moms need to be protected, brothers need to be protected, there's no daddy around, kind of thing. And then you start being aware of the things that are actually happening around you. Then I started being very aware that there was actually, hold on, there's this thing called crime. It's happening regularly,
So were you in a part of Cape Town that was shoddy, or
first, no.
Yeah.
At first, no. It got to the point where it started getting steadily a bit more dodgy, kind of thing.
Yeah.
I suppose it's like that pretty much all over the country now. I mean, even in really posh areas, there's still like the taint that you walk around the wrong tree and you're gonna get jumped, kind of thing. You know what I mean?
Snakes in the grass, right?
Yeah, this is it. And that one concept specifically really. I couldn't sleep over that snakes in the grass idea, because they could be anywhere, you always have to be ready, kind of thing.
So do you felt like you sort of became a little paranoid, or what?
Oh, incredibly. Probably to the point where I turned into a fanatic. I know, because I've been told this by everyone in my life. Still to this point, I drill security and physical regimens. Luckily, a lot of that was instilled in me in primary school, I think. The same place where I realised I needed to fight as well was the same place that kind of strengthened me up. Was because now I'm 6, I'm in Cape Town. I don't sound a lot like the other... We call ourselves colours in South Africa, right? You get whites, you get blacks, you get colours, you get Indians, you get so on, right? But a mixture of the 2 races, which in black and white, let's just say white and black people, come together, and someone that looks like me gets created, right?
Yeah.
Anything in that vast region is called coloured in South Africa, right? So, okay. Now,
France would call that cafe au lait.
Yeah, I know everyone's going to freak out about that internationally, but in South Africa, this is how we identify ourselves. I am a coloured man. Okay, so, but there are different types of colours, and I'm from Durban, so that makes me very specific. And I'm now in Cape Town, and the Cape Town colored is probably the most notorious of all types of coloreds in South Africa. And they sound they've got a very specific accent, put it that way, very specific sound to them. And I didn't sound like that. And I'm 6 years old, I'm surrounded by them, and they want to know why I sound the way I do, and if I'm doing it on purpose. They should say that I was keeping me, how do I translate it? I was acting white. That's why I spoke the way I did. It's why I could pronounce properly and roll my R's. It's because I was pretending to be a white person, so therefore putting on the air, trying to be better than them. So I'd say good morning, and they'd say punch. Do you know what I mean? Luckily at the time, though, the physical regiment in South African schools was still pretty hardcore. It's kind of apartheid basis, you know. Okay. So we were doing really cool, rigorous things, like you'd run through like tire obstacle courses and like tunnels, and you know, crawl over patches and climb up ropes, that kind of thing.
Yeah, almost like those sort of military.
Yeah, that's it. I really liked it because it always reminded me of American movies. When you see like there's cop training programs and that kind of thing, you know, it was maybe kind of like
Marines or whatever.
Yeah, that was it. And this is when I started realizing there was a difference with me. Like it was really quick. I was a lot stronger than I should have been for my size, and I really enjoyed it. Like I always had this.
Like physical advantages.
Yeah, and it was like a lust for more kind of thing. Do you know what I mean? Like if I could, someone showed me a handstand, I'm like, whoa, and I'd have to be able to do that, figure it out. What else could you do? And then from the handstand, it goes to like handstand flip over kind of thing. Like it just, where can it go kind of thing, you know? So then,
going on,
you can smell. You know what I mean? It's like, and you see everything perfectly. And it was almost as if I was outside of myself, watching myself. Do you know what I mean? Like a hyper sense or whatever, I don't even know what to call it, but my hand popped
out.
An
out-of-body experience.
Yeah, it was like 1, 2, you know, 3, and I remember stopping and thinking, and I was like, wow, that's amazing. I was like, those look really good. I was like, that looks like a boxer's punches. And then
you're like 6 or 7.
Yeah, and then I think that was the problem. Is that I got caught in this kind of like monologue where I was like, whoa, dude, what did you just do? That was awesome. Where did that come from? And then it was like, oh shit, I can't do that. And like, I kind of like fell out of the mode kind of thing, you know?
So is this guy tooled at this point or what?
Yeah, his nose was bleeding and we were only 6, so that was a big thing, you know? So that was kind of, oh shit. Yeah, his nose was crying. But I didn't enjoy the fight. I didn't enjoy doing what I had to do. All I wanted to do was look after my friend. But I had this tingling in me, this excitement. I'll never forget the way his face felt on my knuckles. Do you know what I mean? And I know it sounds horrible. I can hear it in my ears. It's like it's so barbaric. It's like, oh, that guy. But oh man,
it resonated.
It resonated so strong. It was this deep, and I just needed more. Do you know what I mean? I didn't want any pain I needed more of that feeling of like awareness of that virility. Like the same thing. I used to love watching people run. You know, it's just that virility, that powerful. I don't know what it was. It was just this crazy little sparkle that came out of nowhere.
It's energy, man. And it's kinetic energy.
Yeah,
you know. And some people, they love it at the end of a friggin' bungee cord. Some people want to jump from outer space with a GoPro camera on their skull.
I don't know what it is.
And some people want to swim with sharks, and some people want to feel their fist bouncing off of a dude's cranium.
You just be minding your business, walking through the mall one day, and boop, something will happen. A universe will drop an experience in front of you, or whatever it is, and something pings.
So that was a real eye-opener for you, though.
Yeah. It created like a sort of side world for me to like the real world, where it was like home, security, school, grades, cartoons, food. Don't like the socks I got for my birthday. That kind of, you know, the normal. Yeah. It created this whole side parallel universe kind of thing where like I could be anything and I could escape from my circumstances a little bit, I suppose, as well. When Dad left, we struggled a little bit, you know. So yeah, it was just something special that didn't require financing. Do you know what I mean? Because you know, it didn't require anyone else other than myself and where my mind could take me, my body could take me, and that was the most interesting thing as well. Was that where could my body take me, kind of thing. And I started looking at all these other people, you know, and then I discovered the Ninja Turtles, and that was just
the Ninja Turtles.
Right, I figured it out, you know. That's what I'm gonna do with my life. I'm gonna be a Ninja Turtle.
I'm gonna be a Ninja Turtle.
But it still kept this whole martial arty thing it was awesome to see what they're doing with their bodies, because obviously I can convey it into humans. But then when I eventually discovered Bruce Lee or Jackie Chan, for example, master of angles and geometry, then it was more real life, because now these aren't cartoon green mutant creatures. These are real human beings, and they're encountering real human being problems, very similar to the problems that I might encounter or have encountered, and they're handling very well, So that became a core focus for me, because I had this whole worry. I now was incredibly paranoid about.
Welcome to Trash Talk MMA.
Smile on my face, behind my back, they talk trash.
The #1 podcast for news and insight that matters in the world of mixed martial arts.
I don't want to hear it.
Brought to you live and unfiltered from all four corners of the globe
That's what you said.
by MMA aficionado Antoine Pelche.
Yo, and welcome to the Trash Talk MMA podcast. I'm your host, Antoine Pelche, and today I have a very special guest, Mr. Marcel Baby Sumo Gaines, Muay Thai fighter out of the Tiger Muay Thai camp. Marcel, how's it going, buddy?
Good, how you doing?
Good, I couldn't be better, man. I'm glad I caught you. It seems like you're about to flee the country.
Yeah.
What's up with that, man?
I'm leaving the sunshine for some snow, apparently. Lots and lots of rain.
So right now we are in the sunny summer of Phuket. It's been hot, dude.
The constant summer.
I mean, it hasn't even rained though. Like, I've been here for 2 months. It hasn't rained.
Man, this has been one of the driest spells I've seen in the last 3 years.
I was out here last year. It was raining all the time. April, like, at least you get 20 to 30 minutes of rain per day.
It was a fair amount of rain, not so much. The year before that, it was a hell of a lot more. The year before that was like a normal Thailand. I think it's been progressively getting drier and drier. It's been crazy hot this year.
Yeah, I mean, I keep looking at the temperature and it says stuff like 34, 35, 36, but it feels like 40, man.
Every day, yeah. And then the humidity keeps playing around as well, so that, messes you up. You get so used to it, being super high. If it drops by a few digits, then it's like, my throat feels like it's locking up, you know what I mean? It's a bit crazy.
Yeah, and in the camp, man, when you're training in this heat, it's just gnarly,
Yeah, you got to stick to your designated training times of the day. That first thing in the morning, you need to do that long run. You got to wake up early for it. You have to, because by the time it's 8 o'clock already, it is baking hot. So by then, if you do 5-7 kilometers, for example, first thing in the morning, you're going to be dead by the time you get to the gym.
So, how many fights have you had?
34.
34 fights. You must have a pretty locked down routine. So let's talk about your training. What times do you train at? What do you do during those times?
Normal training day, I suppose. Monday morning, get to gym about 7:25. I'm feeling lazy. 7:30.
Well, for most people, that's still early bird behavior.
that's quite lazy for Thailand, for Muay Thai. Foreigners, we get a bit more snooze time. But yeah, I'll get.
Do you find that the Thais they just tend to get up early and really start their day at the
especially if it's more
crowing.
If it's more of a Thai environment kind of thing, traditional training gym kind of thing, then those guys, man, 4, 5 in the morning, it's like a normal morning for them.
Oh yeah, they go military.
Dude, I've seen guys running and they're still asleep, like, you know what I mean? Like, got the guy in front of you leading you by the hand so they don't fall over or grind to the road or something. Like, you're still definitely still asleep. But if you're not moving quick enough, you usually get a sharp slap or something that'll wake you straight up.
Now, you've been out here for a while.
3 years.
3 years, and from the short amount of time that I spent training with you and just kicking it, it seems like you've embraced a lot of the Thai culture.
Yeah, quite a bit. There's there are some parts you're gonna struggle with. I still struggle with quite a few aspects of the culture and the thinking here quite a bit. I think I have absorbed a lot of it, maybe too much of it.
Yeah.
My English has been massively affected. I say same is like a constant part of my vocab.
You're South African, right?
Yeah, South African.
Where from?
Born in Durban, raised in Cape Town.
Okay, and how old are you?
30 years old now.
Okay, 30.
Yeah.
So tell us a bit of your story, man. Everybody loves you out here. I trained a bit with you. I had a blast, and we'll talk about that in a bit, because I had my own sort of perspective of what you were doing, and I liked it. I got the chance to see you fight. You had a great little knockout streak going on here, but take us back a little bit. What got you into Muay Thai?
Muay Thai itself, I had no idea existed, which was quite embarrassing for me because I've always been a martial arts fan. I've been a fighting fan. The dynamics of the human body fascinated me from a very young age. I started thinking about what my body could do, what my hands could do, other than pick up a cup and brush my teeth kind of thing. I was fascinated by that. So people like gymnasts, for example,
Yep.
Especially athletes, I loved it seemed so alive to me. There's so much vigor. The body was just.
That aura that people give off when they're in great shape and very athletic.
Oh, very much. Yeah, there's like an air.
It's a different
around
energy.
It. You definitely pick up on it. But it was just amazing what people were doing. It's the extraordinary things people were doing with what was apparently so very, very ordinary and normal. Do you know what I mean? We've all got 2 arms, 2 legs, but some of us can fucking fly, man.
Yeah, some of us can do more.
Now, do you know what I mean?
Were you fascinated by athletes that you saw on TV, or did you have some role models around you? Were you surrounded by athletes growing up?
I suppose in a lot of ways, probably. My mother was very, very athletic in her youth, and so was my father was a long distance runner. He did quite well in that. He was a professional boxer. He was a bantamweight champion in his youth in Durban.
This was your father?
Yeah.
Okay, so you had
quite sure it percolates in the blood.
Okay.
He disappeared too early to be able to teach me anything though, but I'm sure some of it, like I said, percolated in the blood.
Yep.
That and my mom's lessons helped. She was my first coach. But yeah, they were both very athletic in their youth, I think, and I really do think it affects you. I mean, I've done my own research now, and it's been proven that the muscle memory, the exercise goes so much further than just muscle memory itself. It actually encodes itself into your DNA, kind of thing,
Yep.
And I kind of always had this kind of inkling that I was able to do things when I was a kid. Like I knew I was just quicker, I was faster, kind of thing, and that fascinated me. So I was constantly doing things that caused me a lot of injury, like trying to climb things all the time. And then the second I could bend a spoon, oh my god, everybody cutlery in the house bent, kind of thing. And I kept trying to push those limits,
knives.
Yeah. And then you go from the point where you're just a kid living in this world of wonder to a kid that's now living in a world of rationale and logic and things, because your brain changes, and once you start getting educated, right, don't you? You know what I mean? So then I started figuring things out, like physics. Like, okay, this kid, we're both kids at the same age, whatever, but this one has a lot more weight, he's a lot taller, you know what I mean? That changes things massively, doesn't it? You know what I mean?
Yep.
And so that kind of thing really interested me a lot. And then the martial arts had a lot of very cool answers to a lot of these questions. And then I suppose the reality of my environment kicked in very soon after my father left when I was 5. Kind of like the shield was off, kind of thing. You know what I mean? And then the UV rays
Exposed.
Yeah.
So what was your environment?
It was fairly good for a while. Then we moved to Cape Town when I was still fairly young. Mom bought a house out there to help us sort out our lives, get started again, kind of thing. And then I'd been given the role as the head male in the house, which